Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla. Take charge, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pasco, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. Would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket.
Hello everyone and welcome to Guerrilla Cricket, where it's IPL Wednesday in collaboration with the Cricket Podcast. We have seen another mind-bending week in the world's premier T20 competition, with startling displays from Killer Miller, a hat-trick from Yuzi Chahal, a ton for King Legend, and a second ton for England's own Jos Buttler. We'll be talking about all of that. We'll be bringing you our Woodstock moment of the week, our IP Hell. Max has an Easter-themed summary of the last week's cricket. And there's a match. We're going to be broadcasting a match. Delhi Capitals, assuming no more players have gone down with COVID, will be taking on Punjab Kings in about an hour's time. But first, let's meet today's crew. On my right here, I've got Tony Bishop.
Hello, as ever. Delighted to be here.
In the ether somewhere, I have Max Roy Brown. How you doing, Max?
Hello. Yeah, very good. Very good. Thank you.
And we have Ajit from the Armchair Cricket Podcast, who has promised to introduce the show with a story of his own from his exploits on the playing field on Monday, I believe.
Yes. Hi. Hello all, to all the listeners of Guerrilla Cricket. So I would like to maybe take a moment to tell you this interesting story. It doesn't have anything to do with this awesome haircut I've got. That's more to do with the season that's coming. But
you're suing a hairdresser later for that one, I assume.
Oh no, it was a choice, if you may believe this. Alright, so, well, sometimes you have to come to terms with what's there and what's not. This is a very clear indication of what's not there anymore, and so on. But, well, on Monday what happened is, here in the Netherlands we have a Easter Monday holiday rather than an Easter Friday. So we had a practice game, and I was bowling, and I had bowled an over and a half. It was not that bad. The match situation was a bit tight. I think we had taken 5 wickets of the opposition, and there were about 80 runs to get, so it was right on the knife's edge. So I go to the back of my bowling mark. I mark my bowling mark again, and somebody calls my name. I turned around. What happens? This ball comes and hits me in the nose. So somebody returned the ball to me. In their eagerness, had thrown it right at my face, not checking whether I was actually looking at them. That's what happened. I mean, a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot of blood, some blood, and a ruined pair of shoes and a shirt. But outside of that, the lucky part is there was not a lot of damage. I couldn't bowl. I couldn't carry on anymore. I had to lay on my head, I had to lay my head down and put a nice compress on my nose and so on. So that's the story I have. For the first time in, however long I've played cricket, somebody threw the ball at my face, and unfortunately it was a leather ball that they chose to do.
Oh my lord! Do you remember the story of a famous interview with Mike Gatting? Was it Malcolm Marshall who had got him?
Yes.
And it literally they were picking bits of nose bone out of the cricket ball,
Yes.
and he was interviewed after the game with this black eyes, broken, exploded nose, and the guy who was interviewing him said, "Well, Mike, where did it hit you?"
No, but
and he just kind of went.
I thought it was when he landed back in England after
It might have been, but it was still
But the question was the same. Where did it hit you?
What a daft question. Anyway, shall we move?
Well, I'm
move
glad
on?
you survived.
I'm glad you're all right.
I once threw a
Thank
ball
you.
into an umpire's face, not on purpose. That's
No,
why-
neither did this guy. He was in tears actually himself,
What?
looking at the carnage. But it looked worse than it was, as
my.
these things can be.
Good.
So on the back of that, you decided to go and have a haircut just to cheer yourself up.
Actually, I had the haircut before, and I'm thinking if that might have been the cause for the throw into my face. But
Well, I could see
that's
why.
not the discussion point. I mean, my teammate may have disagreed with my choice of hairstyle so much that he may have decided to teach me a lesson. I mean, there are multiple ways of looking at it, right?
Right, shall we kick off every IPL show with Tony's tunes. Before we do that, Tony, is there anything we need to plug from a Guerrilla Cricket point of view?
Well, as ever, there is a few things, but I'll keep it simple. When the match starts, don't forget the GPL will be open. You just go to guerrillacricket.com/competition. You can register, and then you can just guess the number of runs to be scored in today's match. You've got the first 45 minutes of play to do that. If you win the pot. I'm not quite sure what the pot's on, but it's hovering around 30, 40 quid, I think. The more people enter, the bigger the pot. If no one wins, it rolls over to the next time. So that's worth getting stuck in. And the other one, of course, is if you go to patreon.com/Guerrilla Cricket, or just look for Patreon on guerrillacricket.com. If you want to help the show, if you want to keep us on air, if you want to find ways to just keep us doing what we do to help you, then Patreon, for as little as £2 a month, is the best way to do it. And you get all kinds of fantastic content. You get a regular podcast, you get a new newsletter, you can get shout-outs, you can get discounts on merchandise, free merchandise, whole bunch of fantastic benefits if you do that as well. That's it. That's my plugs done.
Great, well let's go to Tony's tunes. Tony's going to play us 3 jingles from either side. There will be an interactive Twitter poll.
There will.
In other words, a Twitter poll that you can vote on.
Yes.
At Guerrilla Cricket. Head over there and tweet in your thoughts on the jingles and the week in the IPL.
Well, I'm going to start with the Delhi Capitals because we had the Kings last week, didn't we? Of course. In fact, there's been a real trend I've noticed that one
We
team
double
from
up,
the
yeah.
previous week seems to always carry on. Anyway, so the new ones are going to be the Delhi Capitals. Those who are still standing and available for selection, I'm not even sure I've got those. But I'm going to start with this fellow. It's Lungi Ngidi.
Domination is the name of the game. In cricket or life, they're both just the same. So go get the guy who can turn the day. Let's play Lungi Ngidi. Let's play Lungi Ngidi. Are you down for Lungi Ngidi?
Yeah, big fan of that. Tony, your thoughts?
Well, I selected them, so I selected them because they're the ones I I didn't pick the absolute dogs that I thought weren't playing. So by and large, you can say I probably like all of them. But I think that one's got a nice vibe. Yeah, I like it.
Anyone want to offer a dissenting voice, or is that thumbs up from around the Guerrilla Cricket studio?
Yeah, it's good for me. Upbeat, nice 80s synthy vibes. It's great stuff.
Yeah,
Good one to start.
I'd like to see a bit more of Ngidi. That jingle, I could get used to playing that, I think.
Well, let's see what you think of the next one then. Again, hopefully you'll be seeing it. It's Prithvi Shaw. Here he is.
This young chap here's called Prithvi Shaw. When he steps up, the crowd want more. He made 500 when he was 14. No pressure there. I hope he's not peaked too early.
Max, I can see you nodding your head along to that one. Are you a fan?
Yeah, got to love a bit of Britney, haven't you? But I've got a question. I questioned the punchline. I was hoping for some, hit me, Prithvi one more time, or Prithvi baby one more time, or something like that. But
Precisely.
Otherwise, very good.
We're talking serious art here, not cheap puns.
Don't give me that.
Well, there's also something about peaking early, right? For a choice of Britney Spears.
Yeah, that's good. But yeah, it's a bit more subtle, I suppose. There's an undertone there.
Prithvi Shaw still has some life left in his career, perhaps.
What are you saying about Britney? We could be
No,
about
Prithvi.
to experience a great second act.
Well, don't forget, we have her as a jingle. We have a Hit Me One More Time as a 4 jingle as well, isn't it?
We do.
Yeah, so there you go. Listen out for that. We'll probably play that today.
Big Britney fans over here.
Very fond of her ferries. Okay. Shall I do the next one?
So just reeling from that pun. Yes, why not?
It's this chap, Rodman Powell.
Rodman Powell's got an awesome name. It makes him sound like he's a spy. Rodman Powell's got an awesome name. Oh, I bet his life's full of girls and cars and lots of fun. He's Rodman Powell.
Tony, you might have to help us out here. What is that based on?
I've got literally no idea.
No idea.
Everyone's selected on its
Something by John
unique
Bon Jovi,
musical
no?
merit.
Sounded like something by John Bon Jovi.
Hey, could be.
It's Blaze of Glory, is it?
Yeah, Blaze of
is,
Glory.
John
Yeah.
Bon- Yes.
What's that got to do with Odeon Smith, though?
No, it's Roman Powell. But yeah, same difference.
Oh, it's not Odeon Smith's next. Rodman Powell, isn't it?
Same difference.
Well, Ajit did call that. Well done, Ajit. Are you a Bon Jovi fan?
Yeah, some of my first rock, some of that music. First time I ever heard in my life was John Bon Jovi. It'll stay with me for a while.
There we are. Yeah, what was that? What was your first album, Ajit?
It might have been Scorpions. I'm Still Loving You. It stays with me. That might have been the first ever album of Western style music I may have
You're
heard
a
of.
stadium rock guy, I can tell.
I think
Yeah,
mine
sure.
was The Darkness, Permission to Land.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Matt?
We're talking first one you've ever bought or listened to.
No, not listened to. Come on.
Thomas the Tank Engine.
I was going to
greatest
say
hits,
Thomas the Tank Engine.
narrated by Ringo Starr.
I think it might have been a Travis album.
Oh.
The Man Who, the first Travis album.
Tony, was it Tchaikovsky or Shostakovich?
Well, a similar answer to Max. The first one I bought as opposed to listen to. Fog on the Tyne.
Oh, really?
Lindisfarne. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Little Guerrilla Cricket insight for our listeners. Let's move on to Punjab Kings.
I think we should. Well, I've given the game away of the first one because obviously it's Rodman Powell we played. It's is this fella, the man who thinks he's not a cinema but not quite. It's Odeon Smith.
It's like I told you, O.T. and Smith will dent your car.
Short and simple.
Yeah, it doesn't really do justice to the man, I would say. I mean, if you were going to say play, what's Odeon Smith's jingle going to be?
Big, loud, aggressive.
it'd be
something like a WWE entrance, right? Entrance music for a a WWE star.
He is a bit more WWE than synth pop from the 80s.
Yeah.
But
he's not going to dent your car either. He's going to smack a hole in it.
Is that the one by the side of the pitch that they're talking about then? That the commentators occasionally obviously have a script in front of them, beautifully styled, top speed of 0 to 60 in 20
smashed
20
so
seconds.
much.
Yeah, well, I think we all
Those
do.
are painful. Those are painful to listen to. How they have to show those comments in. But
It is.
well, we don't do things like that.
You'd never
around here,
catch
do
us
we?
doing that
Yeah.
during a Woodstock cricket break or anything.
Yeah, it's,
absolutely.
it's 25 minutes. Of Woodstock
we
right now.
wouldn't talk about hampers with rum in just because they're there. God knows. Right, shall I do the next one?
Yes.
Right, it's I struggle with this gentleman's name. Premziram Singh?
Prab Simran Singh.
Premziram
There we
Singh.
go.
Well, here he
If you
is.
break it up, it's two words, Prab and Simran. So
Prab Simran.
think of the
Prab
Lord. Or,
Simran.
what do you say?
I remember there was a song called
Chant the Lord's name. That's what
Okay,
Prab
Rose
Simran
of Cimarron.
stands for.
That would have been a good one for this, but it's not. It's this.
Who's the guy that's keeping wicked? Who's the dude selling lots of tickets? Who's the sides number one? Just a kid called Preps Him Run. His gloves are so clean. It's Preps Him Run Sing.
That is a really good jingle for a man who barely plays.
It's got a vibe of a sort of a 70s American sitcom, though, isn't it?
You are. I mean, it's. I like that a lot.
So do I.
Max, are you a fan of 70s sitcoms or that jingle?
Both, yeah, 100%.
What's your favourite 70s sitcom?
I am gonna pass. There's too many to choose from.
I have one.
Yeah.
That's for me a clear favorite. Are You Being Served?
Oh, very good. Interesting choice. Certainly.
It's not American. I understand. I grew
No.
up on a bit of British TV, but not a lot of American. So
I
Being
feel
Served.
like young Mr. Grace when I come into Guerrilla Cricket sometime. I can just pop my head round the door and go, "You're all doing very well."
Should we do the last one?
Well, the last one's. I think the last one's fairly short and sweet. It's this gentleman. It's Harpreet Brar.
Young kid at PL, the chance to excel. You can't stop Harpreet Brar. He'll never give the game away.
Again, it's not too bad. I mean, that would be right up your street, Ajit, presumably. Is that
Yeah.
Journey? Yeah.
pretty much Journey. Yes.
REO
but,
Toto Sticks Wagon.
Well, they sang one good song and not a lot afterwards, but that's another story. So, where was I? No, in this case, did the backing track for Mog just shut off or something halfway through the jingle? It sounded something like that, or was it always meant to be that way?
I don't know. Maybe you can't completely rip off a Journey song when you're making a jingle, so you have to adapt it slightly to swerve the YouTube moderators. Max, I imagine you love Journey.
Yeah, I love the song they did until it got ruined to death by Glee.
Oh, really?
They did.
glad I've not heard
They did Any Way You Want It, though, didn't they? Was that Journey, and that's got a good Rise
tell
Against
me.
cover. So
No, I thought that was Van Halen. No,
was that?
could
I
be.
don't know.
I'll have to
Well, there you go. I haven't got a clue, but yeah, good Journey, good song that they did, and good jingle.
I like that song, but only because it's in The Sopranos, the final episode of The Sopranos. Spoiler.
Yeah, good recall. Great
Oh,
recall.
well, there we are. So your choices are, I'm not going to play them again, so you can relax. It's Lungyangidi, it's Prithi Shaw, it's Rodman Powell for the Capitals, and it's for the Punjab Kings. You've got Odeon Smith coming to a cinema near you, Prabhasram Singh, which I've just mispronounced again, and Harpreet Brar, which I didn't. There you go.
At Guerrilla Cricket on Twitter to participate in that poll.
Give me 2 minutes to put it up.
Well, yeah, but go there
And-
now
and
to the people.
it will be
hit
happening
like
literally.
or follow or whatever
There
it is. We're now, if you're departing the studio, Tony, I don't know you. Yeah, okay. Right. We're going to go to Max Rowe Brown and his summary of the week. Max, I believe the theme is Easter.
It is, yeah. It had to be, really, didn't it?
For people who haven't been following the IPL closely, enjoy. For people who have, I reckon these are better if you have been following the IPL, to be honest.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
There's-
I will hand over to you.
Yeah, you don't get a ball by ball blow of what's been going on with these, but that's not the intention, is it? So yes, the Easter summary. As the 10 teams scrabble for chocolate eggs hidden around the garden, who is still in the hunt, and who was successfully able to defend a first innings total and be crowned Kings of the Dew? After a few games, the Sunrisers looked very much like they'd been wrapped in cloth and carried to a disused tomb, but just 2 games later, we find that the stone has been rolled aside and nothing but bloody rags where they lay. It is said that the Sunrisers shall rise again, but this doubting Thomas still remains to be convinced. In stark contrast, Mumbai are the league bunny. They seem to have given up winning for Lent and possibly forever. Wherever they go, there always seems to be a Judas amongst their ranks, whether it's Sky selling out his batting partners or Timel Mills leading the Romans around the back. Their fate is nailed on after Pontius Pilate released the infamous prisoner that is KL Rahul's batting flair. Delhi flatter to deceive again. Their spirit is willing, but their body is weak. RCB, on the other hand, have recovered from their chocolate binge last week to notch up a couple of victories. But the real celebration was between Rajasthan and KKR, who hosted a meal fit for a Last Supper. Butler served a fine feast, but as the night drew on, it looked like the party might run dry. But when all hope looked lost, Yuzi Chahal managed to turn water to wine, miraculously ensuring the Rajasthan Royals could party on. And there's one other team who is no stranger to benefiting from miracles, and that is the Gujarat Titans. This time, they enjoyed Chris Jordan using 2 little overs to feed the 5,000. CSK have taken on the role of Peter, denied 3 times since their solo victory, leaving them done for and leaving Ahmedabad boys top of the pile.
Max, that was truly beautiful. Do you want to quickly appraise us of the table for people who want a more concrete idea of
to know what's actually happening
in the IPL?
Of course. So as mentioned, the Ahmedabad boys, aka Gujarat Titans, they are top. Played 1 game less than RCB, but on 10 points with them. RCB in second, Rajasthan Royals, Lucknow and Sunrisers, 3rd, 4th and 5th, all on 8 points. KKR and Punjab behind them on 6 points in 6th and 7th, and then we have Delhi on 4, but they've only played 5 games, so they've got a chance to catch up. CSK on 2 points after 6 games do not have a chance to catch up, and Mumbai on 0 points after 6 games definitely don't have a chance to catch up.
Yeah, who'd have seen that coming? The 2 most storied franchises in the history of the IPL sitting bottom of the pile with a solitary win between them. It was a pretty fantastic week for the IPL again, particularly the second half of it. There's a couple of games that I really want to touch upon. The first of those, Max, and I'm going to get you to sort of briefly summarise this as well, if you don't mind. You're very much earning your summarising coin today. Gujarat Titans versus your Chennai Super Kings on Sunday night. It featured David Miller, a sensational 94 from him, of about 170 as well. It was more than half the runs. Great batting. What was the story of that match? And then let's dive in a little bit more detail.
Well, arguably it was a story of absolutely blowing it, but there was a bit more to it than that, wasn't there? CSK finally saw Ruturaj Gaikwad enter some form after a very slow start to the IPL this year, and a slightly slow start to his innings, but he motored on and ended up putting on 73. And CSK were going reasonably well throughout the innings, but really kicked on at the end with Jadeja hitting 22 off 12. Taking Lockie Ferguson for a couple of sixes at the end, which allowed them to post 169, which was a reasonable looking total in this particular game, and it looked even more reasonable after Gujarat went out to bat, because they were about they were 16 for 3 after 4 overs, which kind of had you thinking that it was game over, particularly given that they were missing their captain, Hardik Pandya, who had been batting at 4, of course. He was out. Azlari Joseph was in, Vijay Shankar was in, so they were looking a bit changed. And the only person who kept them in it was David Miller, who started quickly and carried on quickly, while most other people fell around him. But even despite his efforts, they needed 48 off the last 3 overs. unfortunately for CSK, Chris Jordan bowled 2 of those overs. And David Miller and Rashid Khan, the standing captain, saw to absolutely putting him to the sword, which perhaps isn't too difficult to do when you're just fed with full tosses and half volleys for 11 balls. But they had to put them away, and they did put them away and ended up winning with a ball to spare after looking all but out of the game.
Ajay, I'm going to put it to you that although the 94 that David Miller scored isn't the top score in this year's IPL, and although it might not have been the most explosive innings we've seen in the IPL this year, probably goes to Pat Cummins, that this might have been the most valuable or read best innings in the IPL in 2022. What do you think?
I'll agree with you there because of the circumstances it came in, right? And look, strike rate of 185 is nothing to snigger at. That's a very good strike rate. It may have not actually rivaled what somebody else did, like for example Pat Cummins, but this came in a chase where everybody around him was sort of failing. So if you look at the score, they were 4 for 48, right? And when Tewatia came in, Tewatia made 6 runs out of a partnership of 39. So you see, there already David Miller got going. So, and in the end, to actually take that chase home, he had a lot of help from Rashid Khan, no doubt. But even in the last over, if you look at it, there were 2 dot balls. The first 2 balls were dot balls. He was looking to make 13. The amount of self-belief he carried to say that, let me retain the strike, it's not a problem, I'm going to get those big shots away. I think there was also a no ball bowled there. But that self-belief was amazing to see, and I agree with you that this could very well be the innings of the tournament.
It was great batting, and it was batting from a guy who a lot of people, like for example our the third man on the cricket podcast, Ross Legg, had written off as an IPL force. Max, is this David Miller, he pulls this off. It's not completely out of the blue. He's having a decent tournament, but it's not what no one was expecting this sort of performance from him before the season. How has he been able to do this? Is it because he's changed his game, or is there some other themes that we maybe need to explore or think about in a little bit more detail?
I think, and this is not to be necessarily too harsh on David Miller, but when you sort of contrast it to last season, he had a couple of games where he did pretty well, but overall, wasn't much more than okay. And I think what we're potentially seeing is that kind of that extra. There's an extra bowler for every team in the IPL now that maybe isn't quite at the level that maybe other bowlers are and have been over the last few years with the extra 2 teams. And I think that's maybe allowed David Miller to just sort of step up a bit into the arena of the top players in the IPL, as opposed to where he was before, was maybe just sort of a good player but not quite on the level of your Andre Russells and those who you would have as your absolute superstars who you would back to do things like this. But he's always had it in him. He's always put together the odd innings where you look, wow, this guy's a force, but never really done it consistently. So I think maybe just that side of things has helped him to step it up. But it was phenomenal.
Yeah, it's a thing that a few people have highlighted, isn't it? That there are 22 players that are playing in this year's IPL that weren't in last year's tournament, and that has sort of 2 effects. Obviously, it waters down the talent, but it also means that last year's 8th best player in a side is probably their 6th or 5th best player, because you think that 2 extra people have come in, and everyone gets slightly bumped up the rankings, don't they? And I think maybe we're seeing that with David Miller a little bit, and a few others. I mean, Shivam Dubey, we were talking about him last week, weren't we? I don't know if in an 8-team league he is as effective as he is in a 10. Chris Jordan,
if that's the case, it makes it a shrewd bit of business.
It does, yeah, for sure. Chris Jordan, would he be one of those players, Ajit, that maybe wouldn't fit into an 8-team IPL, and we're seeing here take some punishment?
Absolutely. I thought he let the team down very badly. He has this mode of either being very good or very bad at the death. So in this very tournament, earlier in one of the games, I think he bowled an immaculate spell at the death, like conceding hardly 15 runs in 2 overs or 14 runs in 2 overs. That's the sort of confidence he gives your captain. And then in a crucial game when your team cannot lose anymore, and you have 3 bowlers who have bowled at a economy rate of 6 or less, having fully completed their quota, this guy goes and gives 15 or more in the over. So that's sort of unexpected completely, and somehow I think Jordan is mostly surviving on the promise that he's shown in international cricket so far, and he doesn't deliver the same goods for 2 years now, I think.
Yeah, I think I like Chris Jordan, but I do feel his time might be up as a top level death bowler.
I think his death bowling's out of date.
Do you want to explain that?
Well, there's a time and a place for the Yorker, and the Yorker can be a very valuable weapon. But I think, from watching him, I think he's still in the mode of the Yorker is the best policy, and when the Yorker goes wrong, boy does it go wrong. And we saw that in that game. It was half volleys and full tosses, and he got taken down. He got taken down by Rashid Khan, who's useful. Perhaps a useful batter, but he's not someone that you would expect to be dispatching you. And I think maybe Chris Jordan needs to think about when to use the Yorker, whether he needs to add a different side of his game with the death bowling, or just sort of have a think about what the other options are. He's got a bit of pace. He can bang the odd one in short, but it's all a bit predictable, and people have worked him out.
He is a little bit predictable. I mean, I think particularly thinking back to that game, Rashid Khan was basically sort of camping out on the front foot, wasn't he, to play that hockey shot he sort of plays, the kind of swipe over mid wicket. It's not orthodox, but it works for Rashid Khan. A thrilling win for Gujarat Titans.
If I may get a word in about Rashid Khan, I think it's those strong wrists he has, right? So it's the same one that he flicks a googly out of. He flicks those shots just like that. Those mini helicopter-like shots that travel so far, you wouldn't believe that. How strong must those wrists be?
Oh, who knows how he built up the muscle?
Not a man to face in an arm wrestle.
Max, the second match I wanted to talk about was Rajasthan Royals v Kolkata Knight Riders, the bank holiday Monday special. In this one, Rajasthan hit 217 batting first, and it looked like until very near the end Kolkata Knight Riders were going to chase it down. What happened?
Well, it was this is a difficult one to do justice, isn't it? Because it was an unbelievable game of cricket, starting with Jos Buttler smashing 103. And backing up his recent hundreds, he's having a fine old tournament, isn't he? And backed up by Sanju Samson, Shimon Hetmeyer, who came in and did the job of did the job you need when you've got a guy who's scored 100 at the other end, come in, score quick runs, and propel the total. And 217 is the highest score of the tournament so far, but almost disappointing when you look at Ryan Parag, Karen Nair, and Ravi Ashwin's combined efforts between them, who added 10 to the scoreboard from 10 balls. When you think about the 207 that had preceded that from 110, but. Nevertheless, 217, a pretty formidable total to try and chase down. And it very much somehow looked like KKR were going to do that. Aaron Finch found some form, scored a nice 50. Shreyas Iyer was, quick off the blocks. We'd sort of perhaps wondered whether he was a bit of an anchor player, but he showed his worth in T20. Hit 85 and 51, and KKR were well up with the rate, plenty of wickets in hand, and it all looked like it was going swimmingly. But as mentioned, touched upon in the Easter summary, Yuzvendra Chahal, the current purple cap holder, extended his lead in one short over, taking 4 wickets, including a wonderful hat-trick. Both Shivam Mavi and Pat Cummins falling first ball after he'd trapped. Got Venki Iyer stumped first ball, wasn't it? And then Shreyas Iyer LBW after that. So that pretty much ended the game as a contest, or should have done, because Umesh Yadav unexpectedly came in and hit 21 off 9 balls to leave a KKR with a very gettable 13 off the final over. But what they didn't have was wickets in hand, and Obed McCoy on his debut successfully defended it, taking the final couple of wickets. First Umesh, and then first Sheldon Jackson and then Umesh, and ultimately saw Rajasthan Royals home
the real
with,
McCoy.
7 runs, the win.
Yes, it was a cracker. Josh Butler, his second ton of this year's season. Ajit, is he the best player batter-wise in the IPL at the moment?
I think he's very close, if not the best, because maybe KL Rahul might put his hand up. Another opener who can strike the ball clean as well as strike it more classily at times. But I think in terms of sheer striking power, I think Josh Butler is right up there. Second 100, I think it's some sort of a rejuvenation of his career even as a limited overs player. He was sort of struggling. He was nowhere at the end of Ashes. I think this might do him a world of good, and England would do well to just persist with him in the limited overs cricket.
Well, there's an interesting point there, Max, with Joe Root stepping down as England captain, and obviously with Butler's original ascension or re-ascension back to the England team coming on the back of a good IPL. If he gets another 100 and has an excellent IPL, could he be England Test captain?
He could, but he shouldn't be. that's the slight dilemma you get with England, isn't it? But I think, to be honest, this is possibly a little bit of what we saw with David Miller, in that, I mean, Josh Butler has got his eye in these innings by taking some of the less fancied bowlers to the cleaners and really kicking on. But I mean, he scored 110 runs more than KL Rahul in one game less in the tournament so far. He's so far ahead in the orange cap, and that's not to say whether one's better than the other. It's just about how well Josh Butler is going at the moment. And to be honest, part of that, I wouldn't be surprised if it's down to him of having had a little break, not being in that England-West Indies tour, having a chance to have a little reset, come back, focus on white ball cricket, and I'm with you, Ajit. I think just let him focus on what he is so unbelievably good at, and don't complicate it with what he's okay at. When you've got, Bairstow looks like he's turning himself back into a test player. You've got Ben Foakes, who is England's best wicket keeper, who has done well every time he's been in the England side. So I think just let Josh Butler run. We've got T20 World Cups coming up. Just don't complicate things and give him more responsibility.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens. Ajit, another Royals player who's been having a fantastic season is Shimron Hetmeyer. He's not a favourite of mine, I will admit, but
well documented on the podcast.
But he has been terrific this year, hasn't he?
Absolutely. I think it's he's got out of that Royal Challengers finishing school, and as many players do, they go to another team and flower there. And I wonder if it's that mane of hair at the top of his head that makes you dislike him, but could be other things.
You're going to add some colour to your haircut?
Well, that's the last thing I need. But all right. As things stand, really, he's playing that crucial role of finishing the innings off for Rajasthan Royals. I think there were 3 very crucial innings he's already played this season. And you can see that the difference between the two sides in that chase was right there. So you had 2 big scores in top 3. You needed a couple of 20s or 30s to just see it home, which really Kolkata Knight Riders couldn't until Umesh came in and really gave them a chance. So that I think he's maturing that way, and it's very good for Hetmeyer the player, as well as potentially for West Indian cricket going forward. He's showing a bit of maturity. He has the strokes always. It's just to not try to hit every ball, but look and wait, pick your balls, and you're going to hit them far.
To move us on, I want to talk about one team, maybe 2 teams, depending whether we've got time. Last week we sort of read the last rites, I think, for Mumbai. We said that it would be very difficult for them to get back into the tournament. This week, Chennai Super Kings are probably in that position. Max, as a huge Chennai Super Kings fan, an owner of lots of memorabilia, can you tell us where it's gone wrong for the Super Kings this year, and eulogise, if you like, on their 2022 iteration?
Yeah, I think they've been arguably a touch unlucky, I think, in terms of how things have gone. The batting's been pretty good. They've put up some reasonable scores. They've managed not to defend over 200 against Lucknow, and the reasons for that are a combination of lacking Deepak Chahar and bringing in Mukesh Chowdhury has been playing and been given a pretty thankless task of opening up the innings. Tushar Deshpande's played a few and not really been able to make a difference either. And then at the death, things just sort of have fallen apart, whether that's Jadeja bowling Shivam Dubé in the 19th over for no discernible reason, or Chris Jordan falling apart just the other day. There's been a few sliding doors moments for them in this IPL, where they could arguably be sitting on a record of 3-3 instead of 1-5, just for a couple of things that went the other way, a couple of decisions that they'd made, a couple of individual performances that hadn't been so disastrous. But that's the way it goes in T20 cricket quite a lot, and they will be wondering what the plan is next season, given their somewhat ageing squad.
Ajit, do you see them tearing up the CSK playbook, or will we see the old boys go back round for one more potentially glorious season, perhaps back at the Chapok?
Well, at least some of these squad will not survive. That's my thought process. Some of these people will be let go. I don't see Dhoni really playing another season. Raidu might not get to play another season, but the rest of them might stay. And one way or the other, Dhoni will be there. He might be sat on the bench playing a mentor. That's the way I look at it. They may even go back to some of their other tried and tested players that now are in other teams. They may try to get them back if that's a possibility and so on. But yes, I can't see the entire squad making it intact to Chapok for next season.
Well, I've heard rumours that they're monitoring the progress of Sam Curran's return from injury quite closely. I know they were big fans of him when he was there last. Finally, I suppose from a team point of view, then we've got Woodstock Moment of the Week and IP Hell coming up. Is Sunrisers Hyderabad. Now I toyed actually with putting them under my IP Hell, because I hate watching them and I hate seeing them win. But I think they probably are due some credit. Ajit, it's been a remarkable rise up the table, hasn't it, after their first two defeats?
Absolutely. I mean, they look like a well-oiled machine now. What with their bowling really, really threatening. So you have a good combination of Bhuvneshwar Kumar and Marco Janssen, and you'll have finishers like Natarajan and Umran Malik, right? So that bowling really looks very tough to score a lot of runs against, and their batting seems to be clicking in place. What I had felt a couple of weeks back, Abhishek Sharma needs a couple of good scores, and he has all the shots. Kane Williamson is sort of coming good when he has to, but for me the key man in their batting order is Rahul Tripathi, right? And then the choice of Aiden Markram and Nicholas Puran, there's enough excitement there, but also a little bit of unpredictability. So that one I'm still waiting and watching. But overall, really, really good to see sort of Sunrisers coming together. The plan that they made at the beginning of the season seems to be clicking.
Yeah, in fairness, I mean they were unwatchably bad last year, but this year, at least with Umran Malik and Rahul Tripathi, they've got some players that do something interesting. So you can tune in for them. Max, before we move on to our Woodstock Moments of the Week, do you think they can sustain this form and make a playoff run, or is this an okay team just playing quite well?
I think they've got a chance. I think there's enough fallibility in each of the other sides that they can get the wins they need to make the playoffs, and they've got a good start to do that. You know, you look at Delhi Capitals, they're a team that we kind of fancied, and they've really not done it at all. Punjab Kings are hot one day and very cold the next. So yeah, there's points for them out there, and they can definitely do it. The bowling tack is good enough to win them games.
Ross has a $400 bet that they won't make the playoffs. So
$400.
Yeah, let's hope that comes to well, let's hope he wins.
Bears fruit, yeah.
Yes. Woodstock Moment of the Week. We have the jingle for that, Tony.
We have just the Bears. Here we go. Yes, here's our Woodstock Moment of the Week.
Astounding things in a cricket match unfold, and sometimes there's a story to be told. Woodstock cricket moment of the week, the great sights we've seen unfold.
So that's the Woodstock cricket moment of the week. If you've got a moment, tweet us at Gorilla Cricket.
I've
let
got
us
one.
know. You have
I
moments.
didn't have before, but I've decided I do, and it's also going to be the same for IPL Hell as well.
Okay.
It has to be Marcus Stoinis for me, going like this.
Fuck off! Just fuck off!
Yeah, this was Stoinis last night, wasn't it? He was bowled. He was the
He
last.
bowled himself.
He played on the last hope of a Lucknow Super Giants win. There was a controversial wide call. Then he played on, and they broadcast the fuck off on Sky, which was
Twice, because they did it on the replay today.
They did. Yeah. Max, I'll go to you first. What was your moment of the week?
It's I got to pick. I think I've got to pick Yuzi Charhal's over. I mean, there was so much good about that game that I feel like it has to be something out of that game, and that was the turning point that stopped KKR from mounting what would have been a quite stunning chase. So I think he'll take it for me.
Ajit, your moment.
I can't look beyond David Miller's innings really. That was, I think it may actually kick off something special for his team as well. One hopes, and for himself, after being sort of in the background for a while.
Yeah, no, I think both excellent moments. Now I have to come up with something. Now I had a list that I wrote down, but I'm looking
All
through my
taken?
notes. Looking through my notes now, I cannot. I can't see where I put my list. In fact, I don't think I wrote it down. I mean, I'd probably, if I was pressed, go with the Charhal over as well. I mean, that as match transformations, or as I don't know what phrase I'm looking for here. As value you can deliver in one over goes, that's about as high as it gets, isn't it? 4
And
wickets.
The quick for his match impact.
Yeah, I did like. I mean, on the topic of good overs, we mentioned Imran Malik's name. He bowled a final over that where he picked up 3 wickets as well, I think, and
Yeah.
it didn't go for a single run, or maybe 4 wickets. Maybe it was 3 wickets and a run out.
Fourth one was a run out.
Yeah, so
He
that
picked 3. Yeah.
that was quite good. I'll take Imran Malik, the young tyro, and then we've all gone for something different.
Yep.
At Gorilla Cricket, if you want to get involved and let us know what you have been enjoying. Meanwhile, though, should we move on to IP Hell?
Welcome to IPL. These shows don't have a resale. It ain't in the well. Welcome to IPL.
I like that jingle. That's one of my top jingles for this show. Ajit, you can go first for IPL. What did you not like about the IPL? What did you find funny? Who disgraced themselves?
Well, it's not one but 2 certain somebodies. Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli.
Ooh.
Being talismanic as they are for their teams, their complete lack of performance over this week and a little bit beyond. That leaves me a bit stunned, but I must say I think at least Kohli needs a break. Rohit Sharma will need to be there to hold his team together as they try and salvage something from the season.
Yeah, it's weird with Kohli, isn't it? He's been run out twice. He got a golden duck yesterday. It's been a real season to forget for him. I wonder whether they might be better off just pushing him up the order and telling him to play some shots and worrying a bit less about making him kind of an integral batting part of what they're trying to do.
I think having him and Faf together might be a bad idea because they're both very similar to each other players. Faf at least gets faster as he goes on in that Chennai-like template. Kohli will only give you a strike rate of 130, 135 even towards the end of his innings unless it's a very special day for him.
Okay, so Kohli in the bin, according to Ajit. Time to retire, son. Max, what do you think?
I'd like to nominate Chris Jordan for his disastrous spell at the end, but I actually am going to pick more of an actual, specific moment in time from the Rajasthan Royals KKR game, which was Aaron Finch completely fucking off Sunil Narayan on the first ball. Unbelievably dreadful from him to run out his batting partner before he'd faced the ball. It was a disgraceful call.
What is that? So is it a platinum duck if you're out, or is it a diamond duck if you're out first ball of the innings?
Diamond duck.
Yeah, I think Diamond Duck's first ball of the innings is platinum without facing a ball.
So it's a platinum diamond duck, out first ball of the innings without facing a ball.
Very valuable.
As Sidhu once put it famously, he threw a drowning man both ends of the rope. That's what Finch did. Sidhu actually said this in an international game, I remember.
I like that. That's a good phrase. My IPL is Kevin Peterson's return to commentary. Normally I'm not one to moan that much about the commentary. I think it's got a certain charm to it a lot of the time, the IPL. But Kevin Peterson telling me with absolute conviction things which I know to be absolute bollocks for up to 4 hours at a time really pushes my patience.
I think he's the only one that does it, but he's the only one who does it with such conviction.
I think that's what it is, and he has sort of a whiny voice as well, doesn't he? He doesn't have if he had a commentator's voice, I think he could get away with it, but he doesn't.
He's got Kevin Peterson's voice.
For such a big bloke, he has a very whiny sort of voice.
Yes, he does.
To just hold you off on it, I heard the Hindi version of the commentary, and yesterday it was Ravi Shastri doing the Hindi version of his commentary, and they were not very far off that way regarding what they were talking or the value of what they were saying, unfortunately. But
Get us on there.
Yeah. I bet it's a very well remunerated gig, isn't it? I'm just having a quick look at the Twitter, unless you had it up, Tony. I mean, I can go through it. I mean, there's no problem with that. We're going.
You can. Got some exciting news on the voting if you want to.
Oh, okay.
Well, so you do the tweets, and I'll find the latest jingle vote scores for you.
So Farong says anti-IPL gorillas. I don't really understand what that means. But he sent it in. Ravi Nair. First album I ever bought was Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. Second was Iron Maiden's Power Slave. Then it was the entire Genesis back catalogue, up to and including Invisible Touch. Make of that what you will. I will keep my judgment private. Brian Barish. Any Way You Want It was in fact Journey, Matt. So this is going back to so well done there. Then we've got Jeff Perkins, who's tweeted us a picture of 3 jinglers entering an arena. Only one will leave, or 3 jingles entering an arena. Only one will leave. And then Hector Capoletti, Lungi and Gidi to the tune of Eleanor Rigby. I assume. I don't know if was it Eleanor Rigby?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't. No,
but it could have been.
I
see why that's a good idea.
Yeah, it could work. How's the?
Well, the early voting is rather interesting, actually. Let me tell you, for the Punjab Kings, Odeon Smith and Prabhisram Singh, both leading the way. Harpreet Brar is trailing somewhat. I can also tell you that it took me a while to type Prabhisram Singh because autocorrect kept trying to make it Aura his Ram. So, but I finally figured out how to stop it doing that. And then, if we look at Delhi Capitals, it looks like an absolute runaway win at the moment for Prithvi Shaw, who is a country mile ahead of both Rodman Powell and Lungi Ngidi.
Yeah, I like the Shaw one, I think. I like the Ngidi one as well. I like them all. They were a good set of jingles today. We've got some team news in for the match that we're going to be covering, which is, of course, Punjab Kings v Delhi Capitals. Before we get to that, though, a reminder that you can enter the GPL. That's GorillaCricket.com/competition. A pound to go. Guess how many runs will be scored in the match. That's open for 45 minutes into the innings. While you're on the website, you can find links to Patreon and stuff. And you can buy us a coffee. Bear, you can explain buy me a coffee and the link when you're on air. Team news. We've got some team news. There's a couple of changes to the Punjab lineup. They will be lining up Shikhar Dhawan, Mayank Agarwal back into the team after he had a day off for a sore toe. Johnny Bairstow, Liam Livingston, Jitesh Sharma, Shahrukh Khan, Nathan Ellis comes into the side instead of Odean Smith. Kagiso Rabada, Rahul Chahar, Vaibhav Arora and Arshdeep Singh. For the Delhi Capitals, we've got Prithvi Shaw and David Warner, Rishabh Pant, Rodman Powell, Lalit Yadav, Sarfraz Khan, Akshar Patel, Shardul Thakur, Kuldeep Yadav, The Fizz, Mustafizur Rahman and Khalil Ahmed. So looking through there, I think they've only got 3 overseas players. Obviously we know Mitch Marsh is in hospital with COVID. Hopefully he recovers quickly. He always seems to have very bad luck Mitch Marsh. And Tim Seifert as well is sick. So they've fielded an 11. It's a pretty good 11. I think we're in for a good contest. Before I head away, would anyone care to venture a prediction? Ajit?
I would say DC will come good today. They've been faffing about a bit along with PBKS, but I think DC will get their act together today.
Max?
And I see them winning.
Well, Punjab Kings' record so far from their 6 games has been an alternation of wins and losses, and their last game was a defeat, so they're going to win.
Yeah, I fancy Punjab as well. The umpires are walking out, the players are walking out. I am heading off and passing on to the Bear.
See you all.
Hello.
It's almost seamless.
Hi, you been?
Almost seamless. Not entirely seamless.
Of course, it's not seamless.
It's good to get back to the musical chairs that goes on at Gorilla Towers.
Well, indeed. Right, so you're taking us through, aren't you?
I am. It's going to be me, from what I remember.
Who's playing? What's going on?
It's the Punjab Kings who are batting. It's the Brabourne Stadium because they had to move across the motorway. It was going to be at the Pune Stadium, Maharashtra, but it's not for reasons of COVID, largely I think in the Delhi Capitals camp. So we are going to see these two gentlemen.
Who's the other dude?
Good question.
It didn't look familiar to me.
I will let you know in just a moment. I was too busy moving chairs rather than concentrating on the matter in hand.
Oh, it is Mayank Agarwal. Jesus.
It is Mayank
That's
Agarwal.
how I don't remember him looking like that at all.
Because lately Indian openers have been crapping, so drop them all. Pick Mayank Agarwal.
That was very loud on my headset there. I don't know if it is on the broadcast.
Nah, they're all varying. I can't be bothered to go through every single one. There's
Ooh.
thousands of them.
Going to be Shardul Thakur who's going to open the bowling.
And he has a jingle. Now, I did all these yesterday, so here he is.
Well, the beach is just a road, need to share the workload. I got 7 players on my mind. All the lacking pace, too deep in disgrace. One looks like he might be fine. Shadow hacker. Shadow hacker.
It is him, 30-year-old from Palghar in Maharashtra. Now they're rather quaintly named, the two ends here, the pavilion end and the church gate end. I can't see much that resembles either a church gate or, in fact, to be honest, a pavilion.
Well, that could be a pavilion, although it is a stand too.
Yeah.
Well, should we assume that that's their pavilion end? There is something like a pavilion to the right of it.
That looks like there might be a gate just at that end. So let's go with that.
Oh, that's faultless logic. And thank you for that. We're in the Brabourne Stadium in Mumbai, and the first ball is just guided away towards point by Mayank Agarwal, and there is no run.
Oh, my first album was Help, the Beatles.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good. Probably you and Noel Gallagher. Not necessarily at the same time.
No. Well, that is
Well, we shall
much
see.
younger than me.
The average first innings score on here at Brabourne is high, let me tell you. This season it's 196, I think.
I was just about to go under for the full
It's
first
196, and it was very similar in 2015. Shardul Thakur is in. That does offer some width, and it's absolutely slapped wider point by Agarwal for the first boundary.
2 + 2 is on man. 2 + 2 is on man.
He used to lug his kit bag from about 87 miles away into town, did Shardul Thakur in his youth. Comes from Palghar, 87 kilometres north of Mumbai. He's got a best in the IPL of 3 for 19, which he got versus Kings 11 Punjab in 2017. And he is in, and Agarwal waits and just dabs this, but there is a short third man. In fact, they've got that offside ring pretty well protected. So there is no run, just the one boundary so far.
Well, they do
2 dot balls.
You do notice that they do try and bowl length, don't they? If they can get away with it in the first over and the second over.
I can, thank you very much.
Because fast bowlers generally tend to want to bowl.
Info for you from one of our very up-to-date listeners on YouTube's Yash Davara says Churchgate is the train station near the stadium.
Ah, okay, that's good to know. I was in my head, I was picturing one of those sort of a churchyard, graveyard, one of those wooden gates that you kind of walk through, thinking, well, I can't see anything that looks like that. Waited for again, and guided down to deep backward point. There is a man there though, and they will just get 2. He's played this over nicely, has Mayank Agarwal. We've offered a bit of width. He's slapped a beautiful cut backward of point. The rest have been little dabs and nibbles, but quite delicately done. Remember, the Capitals won the toss. They chose to bowl here at Brabourne. 1937 it was established. Was this the Brabourne Stadium? My extensive research on Wikipedia informs me. 6 without loss for the Punjab Kings. Shardul Thakur, right arm over. Waited for again by Agarwal. Again dabbed down to deep backward point. Fielded by Odeon Smith, and just the single. 7 without loss. Shikhar Dhawan yet to face, so he's quite enjoying watching Agarwal. Ricky Ponting, who's got RP on his face mask, just in case he needs to know who it is, that it is indeed
it's
him.
a good idea not to wear somebody else's face mask.
Well, you're right. We should probably be equally careful with our microphones. We do wipe them with sort of disinfected cloth.
I don't.
Well, yeah. Some of us do.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, dear.
7 runs from the over so far.
Bring your own cloth if you care.
Yeah, in comes Shardul Thakur. That's swung a little bit into Shikhar Dhawan, who now has the strike, and he plays it back down the track to the mustachioed Shardul Thakur, and there was no run. So after the end of the first over, we are 7 without loss for the Kings, and Messers, who is chortling and smiling away in front of a beautiful countryside picture that looks like Constable maybe. Anyway, over to you,
no, it may even be Jack Russell. It's stolen off the front page with Chronic Cricket Matters, I have to admit. Leah's with us. She says, hello everyone, I'm back in the Witches Northern Sector headquarters after spending Easter in the Rhineland. Play ball. Brian Barish says, good day nerds, an idea which can be IPL wide or global. Everyone votes for their top 20 jingle. Each vote gets 2019 18 points, and you all do a top 20 or top 10 jingles or whatever. Maybe an end of the year thing. I've tried that before. Nobody wanted to do the work, Brian. And Jay Grover's with us. Noel Gallagher is roughly the same age as the Bear.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They met at the Hacienda.
Well done.
Oh, that's a point. Yeah, because you were at university up there, weren't you?
Yeah. I was raving away on a Hacienda.
And Neil Harris is with us. Says, good morning, Gorillas. Thanks for the coverage. Good to have you with us.
Oh, good to have you with us, as ever. In comes Khalil. Down leg, it's a wide. It's a leg side wide. Rishabh Pant skips across. Umpire spreads his wings. And it'll be 1 more to the score.
I got my under in. Under 32.5 for the fall of the first wicket.
That's not bad.
It's not too bad. It's a good spread. But
I have to say, I agree wholeheartedly with what Jack was saying about the commentary on the IPL. On the whole, I found the IPL commentary better this year than previously. But when what came on yesterday, I just...
Khalil Ahmed, the left armour, in again. This one is worked off his hip. But to the man on the 45, they're still able to take a single though. So Agarwal will move on to 8. Shikhar Dhawan will be back on to strike. And the Kings will regally, royally, and with a minimum of pomp,
right,
make their way on to 9.
We should do a couple of things, shouldn't we? The GPL is open.
GPL? What's it on, Bear? What's the GPL on?
I think it was £23. Because Messi was the last man to win it. They won £109, is that right?
Oh.
Yeah, and all
invested it in some artwork.
£23 are my pounds.
Yeah, well,
well, there we are.
0-sum game, Messi, come on.
Yeah, it is.
We will wait for Khalil Ahmed again, whose left arm over. This one is full and met right in front of his middle stump by Shikhar Dhawan. He steers it towards cover, and there is no run. 9 without loss.
Something else I can say, it's a good thing that, you know, Jack and the boys are so young because they actually know shit about the internet. That's quite amazing. So he's saying, why don't you do buy me a coffee? I was like, what's that? So buy me a coffee is if people, you know, want to buy us a coffee, essentially. You go there, it's not subscription, you can just at any time go and buy us a coffee. And I quite like a coffee. So if you go to buy me a coffee...
Can you upgrade to buy us a rum?
No, I don't think you can. I think it's non-alcoholic.
This one is cut down to deep point. Odeon Smith fields, and there is a single.
I suppose you can, buy me a cocktail would be a higher level of buy me a coffee.
Oh yeah, you just have to, it's the
So
same
Starbucks
principle as Patreon. You just pay a little bit more
Exactly.
for the quality of the drink.
Do they actually deliver the coffee, or do you have to go and pick it up?
It's a euphemism, isn't it?
It's a
Well,
I don't know if it's a euphemism.
Well, no,
as
actually, I
such.
don't. No, I didn't mean that. But you know, it's just buy me a coffee.
But I get the principle. Yeah, the money, the coffee money, goes into the pot to pay for equipment, and well, that's basically it, really, isn't it? And our
and
studio cost and equipment, largely.
Basically, that's it.
Khalil Ahmed in beats us a wafty waft from Shikhar Dhawan. Rishabh Pant approves, nods his head. He's fielding in a cap, so he's not really seeing too much of frightening pace from Khalil Ahmed, who is left arm
Over.
Left arm over, yes.
That being said, he got a fair bit of bounce from that. He took it
Left
around
arm
his
medium, very
eyebrows.
much medium. No, yes, he is. You're right. He's getting a bit of movement in the air, but it's gentle swing.
Rishabh's quite short, man.
And Richard Pant, as you rightly say, is not
Says
Mr.
the
Tall.
5'6" bear.
I'm 5'8", man.
In comes Khalil. This one's guided away again. Down to deep point. In comes the substantial figure of Smith. Pant fields, man of, according to Messrs, comparatively diminutive stature. But you're quite a tall fellow, Messrs, aren't you? So most of us probably are diminutive in stature compared to your looming presence.
I'm 6'1" and falling.
6'1" and falling.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean getting short and getting shorter, not just falling over a lot. Okay. 12 without loss.
Not a lot.
Khalil Ahmed. In he comes. Over the wicket. Waited for. Dabbed by Agarwal. Down to deep mid wicket. Gets a single. Will keep the strike. And at the end of that over, the 6'1" but shrinking Messrs with the score on 13 without loss will update us on your messages.
Yeah, Farong is with us. Says, greetings from a pyjama weather, Mirpur. 23 degrees C. Bloody cold. Hope everyone is well. DC win here tonight will move them to 6 points and make it very difficult for CSK and Mumbai to make the final. I don't think Mumbai are a chance, are they? Ravi says the Pavillon in Brabourne is a magnificent Art Deco building which is obvious to the meanest eye. Churchgate refers to the railway station just beyond the north end. Which itself refers to the gate at the end of St Thomas's Cathedral's grounds. There you are. So
that's excellent local knowledge. Thank you for that.
That was Wikipedia, man.
No, it doesn't matter either way. It's useful. In comes Shardul Thakur, slapped back over his head, over long off because there isn't one for one of these.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
And the Punjab Kings are off about their work. I'm not sure he quite got all of that, did he? What did you think, Bear?
He got enough of it.
He got enough of it. Maybe he did. There's 2, 3, 4 bounces.
Quite low on the bat, but I imagine his got a low middle on
It's
that.
a
I mean, it's a chunk of
smaller
wood,
ground, of course, just across the expressway from the Maharashtra Stadium. Shardul Thakur right on top of off stump, onto his toes. Goes Agarwal, guides it into the offside, gets himself a single. His strike rate since 2018 in overs 1 to 6, 129. In actual fact, Bear, I have noticed that the balance of winning the toss and batting has shifted slightly. Winning the toss and bowling. Out of 31 games now, only 30 have chosen to field. So somebody did break that trend, but
Was
the
that
win rate
was that a daytime game though?
Yeah, yes it was, and the win
There you
rate
go.
for fielding second is only now 56%. that one swings in as a big shout for BW. I thought it was back
Miles
first.
down leg side as well.
And going down leg, as the bear will tell you.
That's a really, don't bother, don't DRS, don't get done by
Rishabh-
your bowler there, man.
No, Rishabh Pant is. Well, he's got his.
No.
Let me see. No, I think he's basically said you must be mad and or blind, and decided
And Lalit's
that it's not going to happen. It was indeed pitching outside leg, and
missing leg stump.
it was missing, and B was stood about a foot outside leg
Yeah,
stump.
that's what I mean. It was obvious it wasn't out. I don't know why the
So
bowler was
somebody, leg bye is given, so there was no bat involved, but somebody needs to explain the rules to Shardul Thakur, who is going to be
And
in.
all
What's he
bowlers.
done? Wide of off. Oh, that's an extraordinary shot. It was played down into the ground from a foot and a half wide of his off stump by Mayank Agarwal, but it bounced up over the man at short. Well, really, is it third slip or was it short third man? But either way, it was up and over him on the bounce, and it's 4 runs.
Well, yeah, he's third slip, isn't he?
He is third slip, and if he was the same height as Messi, he could have just stood there and plucked that out the air. Well, it would have not been a wicket, of course, because it would have been a bounce. Unless he was Messi's falling over. 6'1" and falling frequently is apparently what we found out today. Like a giant, slightly inebriated tree. Do you shout timber every time you sort of topple? Or tipple? Do you tipple before you topple?
I haven't had a tipple in weeks. I'm on a bloody diet.
23 without loss. Oh, Shakur, that was wide, and that one is to the man. I'm going to call it short. Those slips are way too deep to be slips.
No, the
Bear.
slips,
I mean, that
the
is-
slip's a slip, but the guy behind is short third man.
Yeah, he's short third man. Well, he's fielded it. It's Lalit as well. He fielded it quite well too. And there is no run, and he gets a glove of approval from Rishabh Pant, as indeed he should, because this over so far has gone for 11.
It's a good start. No wickets down.
8, 9, 10, 11. Yes, indeed. That one's flicked off his legs by Agarwal. That's going to go all the way down to short fine leg, to forward to fine leg. Jonty Rhodes, who's the fielding coach, applauds. It's 4 runs.
That was a poor ball. Shoved it down leg side. Well, that went over, went for 16? 14.
It's not bad.
14.
Not bad.
Yeah, played it very nicely. And Shardul Thakur
bet's
started off well. Has
Bet's
lost
looking
his
a bit
radar.
shaky, Bear.
It is looking a bit
Jeff
shaky.
Perkins says, a constable behind messages. They can hardly transport him this time.
Again.
And Brian Barish has clearly got too much time on his hands. Says,
Oh,
I'll
dear.
do the work on the jingle off, and perhaps we can limit it to Patreons. There's a thought.
No.
And Neil Harris says, Messi, I was thinking exactly the same about KP. He reminds me of smug conman who's full of bullshit and trying to sell you something. I think that's a good description, Neil. I really do.
Well, we're going to have a change of bowling. Into the attack is going to come the spin of Yalat Yadav. The man who was fielding at that short third man position is now into the attack.
He hit 6 sixes in an over twice. Ooh, la 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 lead. Yadav. 6 sixes in an over twice. La 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 la.
Oh, I like that. He's coming around the wicket, and he is over the inside out shot, up lofted and just marginally short of Smith, who's out there at long off. Seemed to be in the air for an eternity. Maybe dare one say a lither, quicker man may have been able to get underneath that bear.
I don't think
As a
so.
lithe, quick man,
I think-
what would you say?
No, I think he knew that the guy was at mid-off. He was in the circle. Once he hit it enough to get it into the deep enough, it was never going to be chased down.
In comes Lalit again, drags that down. Although he dragged it down, it was played back
That was,
along the ground to him, and it maybe he tried to push it through. Is that what?
that was
rather
a
than-
real dart, man. I
Yeah.
mean, that was flat.
But he seemed to,
Flat
but he seemed to
fast.
also drop it short.
Well, you can-
Around the wicket he comes. That one's a full toss, and it is bunted straight past the bowler. 2-3 bounces, and one of these by Mayank Agarwal.
My bet's gone.
1, 2, 3.
Well, it's been a real Bertie Bassett licorice all sorts over this. Not all of it particularly tasty, I've got to tell you. By Yalat Yadav. Around he comes. Oh, he's done the same thing again there. He's pulled it through. Rishabh Pant thinks he's got a bottom edge. He has got a bottom edge. Rod Tugger thinks he's got a bottom edge. And it's an extraordinary wicket. And have you got the shit gets wickets jingle?
What, you mean the fuck off one?
No, the shit gets wickets one.
What shit gets wickets?
Well, there is a one called shit gets wickets somewhere. We have a jingle that says shit gets wickets.
Yeah, we do. Where did you find that though?
Well, you're asking me. You're the one who files them. Oh no, that's Knuckles. It's 33 for 1 though.
There's this one. Oh, shit. This is really fucking bad. No.
Well, Shikhar Dhawan is the man who has gone for 9 off 10. He was caught behind off the bowling of Yalat Yadav, the off spinner from Delhi, 25 years old.
And what was your under, Bear? Was it under 31?
32 and a half. Fucking hell.
Oh, God. They got one more.
Well, am I doing a disjustice to that ball? To me, it looked like you're saying he pushed it through. The balls he pushed through to me looked like drag downs, but at the same time, it did get him a wicket. Caught behind. Extraordinary stuff. And the new man to the crease needs literally no introduction.
He does to me. No, it doesn't.
And that was Bear, not introducing him. On cue.
I was looking at someone else.
33 for 1. It is, of course,
this man.
Bradford's finest.
It's Johnny B. Forever in your face. It's Johnny B. And he will cause some controversy.
Well, he is going to be facing Yalat Yadav. Didn't really get going last week, did he? Didn't he get something like 12 off about 13 or 14 and just really seemed to struggle. In comes Lalit coming over the wicket to the right hander, and once again that one was pushed through. Now that one I will give you was pushed through.
That's like a sort of good medium pacer.
Well, it is, but when he maybe it's when he comes around the wicket, it gives the impression of a horrible half tracker. When he's come over the wicket to the right hand of Bairstow, that genuinely looked like a quick ball. What's he got this time? Bit more flight. And Bairstow uses his feet and pushes it back towards Lalit.
The short you can...
And it's a dot ball. 2 dot balls for Johnny.
Get away with, can't
33 you? 33 for 1. We've had 4 overs. And the Delhi Capitals, who won the toss, are fielding. There's a shock. And, well, sort of honours even, I suppose, but they'll be reasonably happy with that wicket. Messers.
Perko says, not by bearabeer.com. Brian Barry says, I never know what team Shikhar Dhawan is on. I only know he's playing when Tony says his name. Jeff says, Tony's suggesting that the coffee money is all spent on pot.
Did I say that? Coffee pot. Very good.
Jack's asked, what is the buy coffee link? So I've retweeted that onto our timeline. Punjab, Varong says, Punjab are very interesting. The only team that scores more of their runs in the first 10 overs compared to the final 10. That is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, they are indeed.
Ravi Nair says, fuck off, Bear, you and your Wikipedias. I live in fucking Bombay. I know shit about this. Good call, Ravi.
Go, Ravi.
Well, it's going to be the Fizz. We're going to jingle him up. His left arm slanted across Mayank Agarwal through to Rishabh Pant. And there's no run.
Varong says, things you expect here on GC Radio number 18. That bet's gone.
Yeah, well, you know.
As it has. Have you found the Fizz?
Yeah, I've got the Fizz. Here he is.
Marvellous.
And just to clarify, the link is buymeacoffee.com/GorillaGC.
Guided by Agarwal down to deep cover. They should have got 2. Yes, they did. So Agarwal moves on to 24. Johnny B, a bit like last week, has struggled to get going. We're seeing Shikhar Dhawan, the replay, as he ultra edge shows as he's trying to really sort of work it off his hip, I think, to one that Lalit pushed through. got enough of a tickle of an edge and straight into the gloves of Rishabh Pant. And Shikhar Dhawan had to walk.
I was just about to bet on him to get more than 50.
7th plays 9th, the way the table stands at the moment. Oh, and he's played on. Agarwal didn't really move his feet. Seemed to be stuck in two minds, both of them with the wrong decision. And he's played on straight onto his off stump. Mustafizur has a wicket. Agarwal's gone for 24, and it's 35 for 2.
The first thing I learned from Guerrilla Cricket, shit takes wickets. Shit takes wickets. Using a ball shot that don't clear the wickets. Yeah, shit takes wickets. Shit takes wickets.
For some reason, I had another one in my head, but that's genius. I like that one, so I'm glad you found it.
Well, I'm going to play them all now because I found them. There's this.
That, on the other hand, was actually quite a good ball that got Mike Agarwal. That definitely hurried him up, and he just seemed in two minds and didn't really do anything except dangle the bat inside edge. He's gone.
O'Neill Harris says that's an awesome jingle. Hard to beat that one. I'm not sure which one you mean though, O'Neill. Whether it was the
now.
shit one.
That's the one you played.
That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah, that was the one I was thinking of. 35 for 2, and we have an all England combination at the crease. It is a man of Lancashire with a man of Yorkshire. It is Liam Livingstone.
Yeah.
Isn't he from Barrow? Isn't he from Barrow? Am I right, Liam Livingstone? Something tells me he's from Barrow.
He's out north somewhere.
He is.
I am Liam Livingstone.
Ooh.
I play for the Lightning. My one-day kit is blue, but for the tests it's white.
Right, now I know you're Liverpool till you die, Bear.
Yes.
Born and bred. What famous Liverpool player
No idea.
was born in Barrow? Not just any Liverpool player. We're talking sort of god status in the world of Liverpool football. Your era. Barrow. Born in Barrow. Who was it? This one is waited for and guided out to deep cover. Livingston is off and running. Well, he's off and strolling, to be honest, because I think he quickly decided he didn't need 2, and 1 was a stroll, so he went for the stroll. 36 for 2. Very, very famous.
Kenny?
No, he was Scottish.
I know, but you never
Good
know where they
knowledge.
could have been born.
Good knowledge of your local team.
Well, you know.
36 for 2. Do I need to give you any clues?
Yeah.
You would be
sniff the line?
crazy not to get it.
Crazy.
All right.
I need another clue.
Okay, let me see. Think of Mark Wood.
Horse?
As this one is dabbed past that short third man all the way to the third man boundary by Johnny B, and it's 4 runs.
1, 2, 3,
You have to remember I smoke quite a lot of weed. My memory's not very good.
Well, that's okay. Also shares the surname with a famous Australian bowler noted for his moustache and belligerent attitude.
Marsh?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, Warner.
Jesus Christ. No, but Warner, a bowler?
Oh, bowler.
God help me. Right, okay, we'll keep going. Johnny Bairstow, he's off the mark with a boundary, dabbed nicely down to third man. He's
Not Robbie Fowler.
he's still facing the fizz. No, not Robbie Fowler.
Oh,
That's worked off his legs by Bairstow. Awful piece of non-fielding, and it's 4 more.
Emlyn Hughes.
Yes.
It's 4 runs.
Crazy horse.
Oh, right, okay.
And we're due a change.
We are due a change.
Now,
Who's on?
I'm doing social stuff, so I'll probably stay here.
Okay. Merchant Engineer replied to Ravi saying, as a fellow Bombayite, I second this. And I'll leave you to go from Leah, Tony.
Super. I will do that with a grateful heart, if I can find it. Jack, are you settling into some ball-by-ball work there? And jingle playing and generally everything else?
Ross's, I think.
Oh, marvellous.
Hello,
Oh, hello, Ross.
How are you doing?
Well, we're waiting for you, really. The
I'm
floor
here.
is...
I'm ready.
Is that a Scottish tracksuit you're wearing?
No, so I don't like cricket club gear.
Oh, it looks like a sort of a 1970s World Cup Scotland tracksuit top.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. We've got a couple of beers on our logo, which is a good thing.
Ah, that's quite Scottish, isn't it? I imagine there were a few beers drunk in the 70s on international away trips if you were a Scottish.
Most certainly.
Well, we've got Akshar Patel here coming on to bowl. He's not really had a brilliant tournament for Delhi. He hasn't really kicked on like many of the other players, but let's see what he's got in store here against Livingston. Comes in. Respect from Livingston straight down the ground to just a wide mid off there and a quick single.
I'm going to play Akshar Patel's jingle now. Yeah, just talk over it.
Okay. And it's a little dab into the leg side from Bairstow to take another single off of Akshar, who definitely had the wood over him, didn't he, in the England-India series last year?
Yeah, in fairness, this is the IPL and not the International Beach Cricket Championship, so...
Oh dear. Dear oh dear, Liam Livingston's come down the track and he has missed the ball by a country mile, and Akshar Patel has Liam Livingston on toast with Pant making this most simple of stumpings.
You sport for choice. Oh, I think you've turned the volume down. Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, you know, I played a jingle. The silly little boy one.
With the volume on 0.
Ross, describe what happened.
Well, he's come down the track and he's a good 4 feet outside of his crease, and the ball's just bounced a little bit more and it's gone almost past his hip after bouncing, and Pant is just waiting to have a cup of tea in the time it's taken him to do that, and Livingston just looked back with despair. I can only apologise to Punjab Kings fans because he's my fantasy team captain today.
Does that mean the kiss of death?
Typically, yeah.
Typically.
You're doing quite well in fantasy cricket, aren't you, though, Ross? I mean, it's better than me. I gave up, so at least you're still going. It's a shame. I was looking forward to watching Livingston bat. He's had a good IPL. Was it 350s, strike rate of 185? Really come to the party, as they would say, I imagine, in the team meetings.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I think I'm looking forward to our Twitter now, with people saying Livingston's rubbish again. No doubt that would be almost immediate.
Well, not yet, but we'll see. We'll let you know when it happens.
Well, Jitcha Sharma, who has lit up the middle order for them, is coming in, and Akshar's bowling, and again high elbow and a quick single down the ground to wide mid off, and placed there or long off.
Let's have Jitcha Sharma.
Jitesh Sharma.
Identikit jingle number 7002.
That's got I did not expect him to play written all over it, hasn't it?
Yeah, he's been a good addition to this side. Punjab Kings could definitely field about 4 wicket keepers in their 11. In comes Akshar again to Bairstow. Wide of the crease this time, and Bairstow swats it to an awaiting point fielder.
It was looking pretty good for Punjab, wasn't it? Well, they 30 for no loss, and now 45 for 3. It's looking pretty sad.
But they've been in this position a couple of times in this tournament, and have managed to rickroll their way up to at least 160, haven't they?
Yeah.
And it's the end of the 6th over, and Akshar Patel goes away very happy with that, to get rid of the Punjab Kings danger man, who the more often you see that, the more times you see that shot, the worse it gets.
Leah says, I buy the Gorillas bananas, jokingly called Affenschnitzel, brackets ape schnitzel in German. Neil Harris says, to clarify, the jingle Bear Hattie and someone else saying how bad things were. It's awesome. Leah Transifa says, Leah again says, now we do. I'm not quite sure now we do what. Oh, no, I think we know what Buy Us a Coffee is. Brian Barish, an all-England batting combination at the crease. Speaking of shit guess wickets, Jay Grover, Bear Game, Livingston's rubbish, etc., etc. O'Neill Harris says, so his Punjab is the team known for just going hard. They seem to be going a bit too hard, says O'Neill. I shall trot on over to YouTube in the meantime, but talk amongst yourselves while I do, because it may take me a while.
How do you think this is poised? Do you think it's Delhi have got Punjab Kings exactly where they want them here?
I'd have thought 47-3 is what they were hoping for. Yeah.
Khalil Ahmed comes in, and it's a little guide straight through the vacant third man region there. Just a deliberate play from Jicha Sharma. 4 runs recorded from the left-hander, who Delhi spent a fair whack on, but has been doing okay, I think, Jack, in this tournament.
Yeah, not too bad.
1, 2, 3, 4.
He got punished by somebody the other night, didn't he? But apart from that, it's been going quite well. Somebody hit him for 28 in an over, and he still ended up with figures of like 40 off his 4. So
comes in again to Jitesh, short this time, just outside off stump, and it beats the point fielder, and it comes round to third man, who fumbles it on the renaissanced Cody Yadav, launches it in.
yeah, no, sorry, it wasn't. I was thinking of Mustafa Rahman, not Khalil Ahmed. But he has looked good.
It's that a variation in the bowling lineup, isn't it? Having that left armour proves quite useful sometimes.
Wasn't it Axar Patel who absolutely decimated England in the Test series?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
11 wickets, I think, maybe more.
I think he's still got a test bowling average of about 12.
Yeah, he does. He does.
So he did it to a
Thanks
couple of
to
other
England.
teams. Did he take a lot of wickets against New Zealand and
Yeah, I think he did.
Sri Lanka 2 maybe?
Yeah, they did. Oh, in comes left armour again, straighter this time, and again just rolled down to the third man, who will pick up a single. Yeah, they were playing Jadeja, Ashwin, and Akshar all in the same 11 in the most recent Test series. Almost seems a little bit unfair when Bumrah's the other bowler, doesn't it?
Yeah, and they're at home, so they know exactly what they're going to be bowling on. See, that's how you go. What was it? 2 home losses in a decade. The Australia series later in the year, though, might be quite interesting. I mean, that's number 1 being number 2 at the moment, isn't it?
2 home losses in a decade. That's the exact opposite of Watford's form.
Bearstorm's back this time. Yeah, Khalil comes in, and it's short on the leg side, is whipped off the legs, and is straight into the hands of short fine leg, and the Punjab Kings are falling apart like a broken wheelbarrow here. This is quite the performance from the COVID-ridden Delhi Capitals.
Yeah, sorry, I've clicked weather instead of wickets on the jingle dashboard. I want wickets. There we go. Here, I'll play this one. It's amateur hour here. It wasn't an awful shot. It's a short ball. He's picked it up, and it probably would have gone for 6, I think. But the geezer on the boundary is right where it went, flat, and a fairly easy one to take in the end. Bairstow not having a great time of it at the moment in India.
Not at all. Not at all. He's struggling, and this will.
The geezer on the boundary was the Fizz. In case you're getting your geezers confused.
Yeah. Who's next? It's not Odin Smith.
No. Well, it's been Sharat Khan, wasn't it?
Sharat Khan, yeah, he's another one who has flattered to deceive a little bit. He's got a big reputation from the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy, but we haven't seen that translated into IPL runs on a consistent basis yet.
No.
Sharat Khan gonna bowl you 'cause you feel for you. Yeah, 6'4", built like a fridge. Named after an actor, what you gonna do? Now you skip his pick because he feels for you.
We don't have enough raps on jingles, do we?
No.
That might be a generational thing.
We'll get Max to do one, shall we? I'm sure he'd jump at the chance. Sharat Khan was probably at fault for them losing the last game, actually. He was his game management, along with Odin Smith's, was absolutely dreadful in the last 5 overs of their innings.
So that's when they did everything possible to keep Livingston off strike.
Yeah, they pretty much did Sunrise's job for them. It was pretty marvellous, actually.
They're really in trouble here, though, aren't they? I mean, they've been bundled out for 150 or under 150 a couple of times in 6 matches. So they are prone to a collapse I'm going to need to do something here that is good.
Here comes Kid Ahmed. Oh, it's a decent bumper, I think. Decent bumper. Got a bit of pace, and Sharat Khan has, needs new shorts, I think. He didn't expect that, did he?
Yeah, he didn't really. He sort of was betwixt and between. He didn't play a shot to it, but didn't get out of the way of it either, and was lucky, I think, that the ball missed his head.
Needs new shorts, did you say?
Yeah, think about it. You'll get there.
Okay. I was going to say, Mickey Arthur's probably got a spare pair, because he wasn't wearing his at Lord's the other day.
Close to the glove as well there.
Yeah, he's
and his helmet's come off. he's got the strapping across his eyes as he's blinded himself here. Khalil Ahmed comes in again and tries another relatively short ball, and this time he's in line and is played down to just backward point for no run.
That's the end of the over.
Right, well, I'm going to swing over to YouTube. Somebody called Adam is saying you are brilliant, Jack.
Good. About time my brilliance was acknowledged.
Do you know that person, and did you pay them?
I haven't, no.
Our friend Pokey has said, afternoon gorillas, much love from West Wales. That's the bit of Wales, I presume, that's sort of close to Ireland, I would guess. Let me see. Yash, no, that's telling us again about the Churchgate is the train station near the stadium. Pokey says, I'm shrinking like a bastard. I was 6'1", now I can barely scrape 6 foot. Krish Ganashan says, feast or famine, Livingstone et al. Other than root, English players are crap against spin. Yeah, there could be a theme there. Liam Livingston says, Yusuf Patel, what was that? Well, he's gone. And he also says, told you, other than Josh, English players are crap this year, overhyped by Cricket Podcast and other English journalists. Ooh,
what about Livingston? I mean,
that was Livingston he was referring to.
Kuldeep's in. And played nicely, deftly in fact, from Jisha Sharma. He's running away toward the boundary. The fierce gives chase, but not good enough. 4 runs to Jisha Sharma off of Kuldeep's first ball. Yeah, I don't agree with that sentiment that all English players have been garbage so far in the IPL. Most have.
There's a few that haven't been playing well, but Livingston's like in the top 5 run scorers with an insane strike rate. One failure does not make a summer of failures to mangle that little idiot.
Here comes Kuldeep in again with his big action. He's a little bit straighter this time and played out to forward defensive. Cricket, I think, is the winner there.
If you like.
Yeah, I think sometimes Johnny Bairstow's in a bit of a rut. Comes out of a pretty decent uptick in Test form and hasn't hit the ground running like he did in the last IPL, where he was probably in the top 5 overseas players actually. Kuldeep again in, bit of turn this time, and Jisha Sharma's powered it away to the leg side boundary with a vacant no fielders there at square leg. It's 4 runs signalled by the umpire.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I think Kuldeep's going to have a bit of a tough game, Jack. He is also in my fantasy team.
Yeah, I mean, he's a left arm leg spinner there, spinning the ball into a right-handed batter. If you drop short with the field he's got on this pitch, you're in trouble. I mean, this is a 190 deck probably, isn't it? I mean,
it's a bit of an interesting call from Pant. And then again, quite a slow delivery there, and just played on the back foot, straight into Shardul, the Lord Thakur. It's an interesting choice because Sharat Khan's also in the middle with Jitesh Sharma, both right-handed batsmen. You'd have thought they might have given Akshar Patel another go, or even brought one of the old spinners back on.
Maybe trying to blag another wicket.
And just played on the back foot. Not even interested in hitting a run there.
Yeah, do you reckon they'll go for a period of consolidation, or are they going to carry on being Punjab Kings?
Well, I think because they've brought in Nathan Ellis today for Odean Smith, and I think their tail was pretty much is next in, right? I think it was with Odean Smith, and they kept on going there, but they haven't really got the Cody Yadav in again, and played on the back foot, and they'll steal a quick single. I think it's going to be difficult for them today to power the way to 160. They have to bat the overs here.
Tony tweets.
Yes, I was just updating myself on the umpires because I thought that was Rod Tucker, but it's listed as as Bruce Oxenford, which I really wasn't sure it was.
Maybe
But-
they switched it round and haven't updated that because there's the different stadiums, aren't they?
Ah, that could be what confused me. Yes. Leah says, Punjab Kings, the team known for going hard. I see a marketing opportunity for selling branded boner pills to the BJP voter base. For wrong says too early to go the blowout. Warren says morning all. Good morning, Warren. Very warm welcome as ever to you.
Yeah, just looking at the next guys in, Nathan Ellis. Rabada's not awful with the bat. Chahar is not the worst either, but you wouldn't fancy either or any of those three to put up serious runs, would you? You feel like the heavy lifting has got to come from one of these two.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one. It's a little bit like in Moneyball, where Brad Pitt is the guy and Philip Seymour Hoffman's the coach, and he's been given the players, but he's not putting the right people on the field in the right positions.
Yeah.
That kind of feels like what's happening here.
Why? What would you be doing differently then?
I don't think Nathan Ellis would be playing, for one. I think Rajapaksa was be on my side, and so would Sandeep Sharma.
Okay. No Benny Howe?
The fizz is back on, and it's just outside off stump, and Chiz throws his hands at it, and bottom edged it all the way down to third man for a single. Yeah, I think Benny Howe is an option. Just depends on what the pitch is doing, right? It's kind of in that fast spinner kind of category, not dissimilar to the fizz, I suppose.
Isn't it Benny Howe that has ADHD?
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons he says he's developed such a range of different deliveries, probably because he gets bored.
You had a chat with Benny Howe, didn't we, Ross? He was really interesting when he talks about it.
Not bad.
There's a proper process to what he's doing. He's not just turning his arm over.
Fizz in again over the wicket, and it's straighter this time and played back by Shahrukh Khan, who he doesn't look comfortable. Shahrukh Khan, he hasn't looked comfortable in any of the innings I've watched him play. At what point there's some batsmen who are straight away on the mark, kind of they don't need anything to warm up. Shahrukh Khan looks like he probably needs about 40 deliveries.
He's going to have 40 deliveries if he wants them today. He's tall. I think that's part of the problem. He's too tall for cricket. So there's
do you
too
think?
much.
I think it wasn't Jared Kimber's thing that the future is tall people in cricket.
Well, I mean, it might be, but it doesn't look good, does it? Aesthetically, tall people with their elbows out and jerky movements don't
I can
look
see Tony
elegant.
Gregg now in my mind.
Is straight, and Shahrukh Khan gets a bit more of it this time, and has managed to punt it down to long on for a single.
Yeah, just going back to Benny Howe from the conversation earlier in the over, he has 3 lockers in his head of different types of delivery. He has ideas for deliveries he's working on, and deliveries he'll use in matches, or maybe one of those lockers is actually deliveries he tried and won't work. But he using his brain moves his imaginary deliveries around those lockers depending on what he's confident with.
Here comes the fizz again. He's a bit fuller this time, and the slower ball out the back of the hand. Shahrukh Khan sets off for a single, but is duly sent back from some decent fielding from Lalit Yadav. No run. Jack 65 for 4. That period of consolidation is definitely happening now. It looks like a pretty decent deck to bat on, really.
They have been so far in the tournament. I suppose there's a chance this one might be a little bit underprepared because they only decided to play here yesterday.
You've got a very short boundary as well, as we're looking down on it from, I'm guessing, the pavilion end.
The vision again, short, wide, diving Lalit Yadav at backward point, but it's flashed by him by Jiddish Sharma, who records a boundary off the fizz.
That went like a tracer bullet.
Yeah, it was there to be hit, and he hit it.
I think on the stadium point, I think this is probably my favourite ground they're playing. Actually, the Braeborn. It's just got some pure cricket vibes. The plastic chairs, the old pavilion, just a ground of a different era.
Church Gate End,
1937. It was they started work on it.
Here comes the fizz, fuller this time, and Jiddish Sharma gets his back down on it. No run, and that completes the 9th over. They are 69 for 4, and we're going to have a timeout.
Oh well, hang on. Krish Ganesan says, "Hey Jack Costanza, that's because teams do not know the weakness of Livingston against spin. He will get back to his average. Prawajem Bharadwaj says Punjab boom or bust approach might be risky with Ellis at 7, and why is Tymal Mills so bad? So many short and wide deliveries. Yeah, he's not found his range, has he? He's been, but I think batsmen have wised up to him a little in this IPL. Chris Cannison says, get down on the phone, guys. We need answers. I'm not quite sure to what.
I think Dan Weston.
Yeah. Oddman says, building innings is greater than whatever Punjab are doing. Yusuf Patel says, Ross Legg is greater than Jack Hope. I'm saying these things. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm just going by the mathematical symbol.
Hold on, let's have a look.
Is that greater than or less than?
Yeah, I think it means greater than.
Yeah, I think so. Bit harsh.
Yeah, and wrong.
Or depending on which side of the fence you sit, I suppose. The Hope side or the Leg side.
Speaking of grounds, we played at a nice one on Saturday, didn't we, Ross? London Fields. People.
Yeah, very pretty. Very pretty.
So Martin
looking at some of those on the Liam Livingston not being able to hit a spinner approach, didn't he destroy Rahul Tewatia? Got 24 off the over or when they played against them? Was that him?
We don't need evidence in this conversation.
Don't need evidence.
Leah says, that's heightest, Jack Hope. I am 1.9 metres tall and I will just blow a booger straight down onto the top of your head if such discrimination happens again. Oh, you don't want that. I mean, that sounds to me like something you'd want to avoid, or get a good umbrella.
Yeah, I bet you'd look ugly if you were batting. That's all I'm saying.
Yesterday on the commentary on Sky, they turned around and said that Dinesh Karthik was vertically challenged.
Oh, I've heard that expression before.
Is he?
Yeah.
I've never noticed that. Is he a short man?
It depends who he stood next to, but yes, I don't think he's particularly.
Was it Kevin Peterson that
blessed
said that?
with height?
No, it was Adrian. Whatever his name is.
Adrian.
Yeah, I think his name.
Thing.
I don't know. If he stood next to Max, I reckon.
Is Max vertically challenged?
I don't know. Well, let's ask him when he comes on next.
If we could just stand up on tiptoe and speak into this microphone and let us know.
What's Punjab's route back into this match then? How long are they going to knock it around for? We're seeing the knock around. What are they up to? 70 odd.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a classic case of being relatively boring for the next 6 overs and then going for it in the last 4. But I think with Jita Sharma they've got somebody who can up those gears, and as Cody Yadav comes in and it's a single down the ground from Shahrukh Khan.
Sorry, Jita Sharma. Yeah, Jita Sharma I've really enjoyed in this tournament. The young Indian wicketkeeper.
Yeah, he's shown good intent and showed that he can hit around the ground. Kuldeep comes again and lost it up, and a floaty one. And he's played with a relatively straight bat down to David Warner at wide long off. Sorry, Jack. The Kuldeep Yadav here. Is this really who they want to be bowling to these two here? And is there a thing that Kuldeep Yadav should maybe come around the wicket and try and challenge them that way?
I don't know, but I think round the wicket's a good call. I'll break off and then I'll tell you what I think.
Here comes Kuldeep, floats it up again, and Shahrukh Khan, with a relatively agricultural straight drive, if you can believe that, straight down the ground to David Warner for a single.
Yeah, I've not been really impressed with Pant's captaincy through this IPL or the IPL last year, to be honest. And I think he's just been sort of in his head. He's decided this is a middle over bowler, and that's what he's gone to.
Cody Yadav down the leg side, and Shahrukh Khan or Jita Sharma has managed to sweep it away. It's kind of on the bottom edge, and poor dive from Kuldeep from Khalil Ahmed down at short fine leg, and it's 4 runs.
Yeah,
that's a bad dive. That is.
Well,
goalkeeper who's just gone into the bottom corner.
That sort of proves your point a little bit there, doesn't it? Bowling around the wicket, drifts down the leg side, short third man. He's basically helped that on its way.
Yeah, and he comes again a little bit straighter. Doesn't pick it particularly well, just but plays it nicely, and it's no run. Yeah, I just think this to me is just not very. Well, it's not really threatening. They can sit on the back foot. They know that there's going to be a bad ball in this over that they can pull back, and it's almost like the old Kuldeep Yadav, really. And he comes again. Jita Sharma floated up, and it's hit just straight down the ground for a nice easy single again to David Warner down at long off. 10 overs gone, 77 for 4.
Right, you're hanging about, aren't you? I'm moving to ball by ball, and Messi Jez is coming in to be the second virtual man in the studio. It's 77 for 4 after 10. You'd probably say
I think that's the first time I've been called a virtual man.
You're in the metaverse now, Jez.
Welcome to the 21st century.
Dear. So, I just checked where we're up to on tweets. Leah says, I like your Coulton Hour jingle. This is to Mog. I was also the first listener to get that joke. Jeff Perkins says, very brave to suggest some of your listeners are ugly brats. And O'Neill Harris reckons we've got a bear game, is the appropriate description for what's happening. It's funny. I mean, yesterday RCB lost 3 wickets in the first in the power play, didn't they? And they still managed to win. So you never know.
Yeah, things happen in cricket, don't they? Akshay Patel is in his first delivery, is knocked back down the ground on the back foot by Jitesh Sharma, who's looking pretty comfortable. Certainly the most comfortable of everyone not named Agarwal in his Punjab side so far. 78 for 4.
It would have been nicer to see Akshay Patel bowl the overs that Cody Yadav has bowled, actually. I think with the left arm over to the two right-handers, a bit more threatening for them. Panthers let them settle, I think, now with Shahrukh Khan and Jish Sharma.
Shahrukh Khan is on the front foot there, drives straight to extra cover, tumbling stop by, I think, Prithvi Shaw, prevents any run. And Akshay is back to the top of his mark. He does get through his overs quickly, sometimes, as he's in, and that's on the back foot again from Shahrukh Khan this time, steered too long on for a single. Sometimes these IPL games can drag on a little bit, so I like it when there's a few overs of spin bowled quite quickly in the middle at some point, just to knock 20 minutes off the end. Yesterday's finished at 7. It's a 4-hour and 10-minute game, which wasn't really that close. As Akshay's in, it's guided to short third, where the fielder, who I think is the Fizz, is not particularly... Khalil Ahmed, sorry. Isn't particularly quick off the mark. It allows the batters to come through for a quick run.
Yeah, he's the definition of one of the old fast bowlers who can't really field. They have to hide him somewhere. I'm disappointed with Pant here.
As Akshay's in to complete the over, it's driven to extra cover. No, sorry, that wasn't to complete the over. That was to complete the 5th ball of the over. Driven to extra cover, there is no run.
Yeah, I think Panthers let him off the hook a little bit here. Could have gone in for the kill.
As Akshay completes the over for real this time. Shahrukh Khan on the back foot cuts to deep cover. Just the single, 81 for 4 after 11 messages.
Ross, you're coming up with some challenge on YouTube. Krish Ganathan says, Ross, Tawatia is a regular spinner. Come on, Ross. Surely you're kidding. You just proved yourself wrong immediately. And Prajal M. Bhardwaj says, Livingston is a good player of spin, but Tawatia doesn't even try to spin the ball. That's true. He doesn't. But that can be an asset sometimes. And Krish Ganathan says Livingston has not proved his worth against real spinners of Chahal, Axar, Patel, Ashwin, leave alone Rashid or Naran. Yeah, everybody has their moments though.
Cody Yadav is in. He spins a wrong un past the edge of Shahrukh Khan's bat. Fair to say he did not pick that one. I think he was trying to hit it through mid-wicket. I'm going to go for 6 inches between bat and ball there, Ross.
Yeah, he didn't pick that at all. It genuinely looks like he's batting with a toothpick, this bloke.
I'm just disappointed nobody appealed.
As he comes down the pitch this ball, inside edges it onto his front.
Press the panic button, old Shahrukh Khan. He can't pick it, and all of a sudden he's like a cat on a hot tin roof here.
5.
Just needs to settle down.
5 from 12. It's not been convincing, Ross. I think he called that early. He hasn't settled into this game at all. As Kuldeep tosses one up, it's driven back and dropped. It's dropped by Kuldeep Yadav.
It dropped.
The ball trickles away to mid-off. They come through for a single. Kuldeep gathers himself, gets off the ground. A tough-ish return chance, but he got both hands to it.
Yeah, it was. I'd be disappointed, I think, here. But Shahrukh Khan is doing that classic thing that the big guys do, kind of, beating him for pace, isn't it? But yeah, Shahrukh Khan is definitely panicking a little bit here, and he just needs to settle down. Plenty of time left in this game for him.
Yep, a life there. Maybe it was a bit harsh on Coldeep. I'm not sure he did get both hands to it. Saved the umpire though, so there is that. It's been, the squeeze is on. Let's say for Punjab at the moment. 4 dots over the last 9 balls and just singles off the other 5. 82 for 4. Coldeep's looking like he's good to go again. Here he comes, whirling away. Tosses up, the big leg spinner that time. And Jitter Sharma hits it out towards deep mid-wicket. He sets off hard, looking for 2, but there won't be an extra run there, so it's just another single. Brings Shahrukh Khan back onto strike.
This is where I think Shahrukh Khan's game awareness just isn't very good. In the last game, he really struggled to find any kind of rhythm. And when you can't find rhythm, you need to rotate the strike and get the other guy down the other end. And he just seems to ball eat at the other end and not looking at all elegant at the crease.
Yeah, he's on strike here. He comes down the pitch and hacks it into the mid-wicket area. Didn't time that at all. It will be another single out to the man at deep mid-wicket. I agree. I wonder with some of these guys, and Punjab have got a few of them to be honest, whether they've got a full range of cricket strokes to enable them to do that, or whether they really basically what they can do is bang it down the ground if it's a half volley, which is useful. As Coldeep's in, tosses that one up. Jitter Sharma plays an inside to out off drive and picks up a single to Warner at long off to end the over. Jez.
And Neil Harris says the bowling right now isn't threatening, but the batters are not going batshit crazy, so they're trying to accumulate. Pants needs to attack Punjab. Josie Oak says, afternoon from a sunny York. Still laughing at Roy Keane almost crying at the State of United last night. I suspect few people are laughing about that. Farong says, if Messages is on when we have a strategic timeout, can we have an update on what ScoMo, our Prime Minister, that twat has been up to, or if not a weekly Eagles report? I don't know that too many people would be excited by an Eagles report, and I can tell you that our Prime Minister is it's what Bear described Boris Johnson as last week. Let me put it like that. Fortunately, we have a chance to vote him out in 4.5 weeks, and we'll do so. Thank you. And over on YouTube, Yusuf Patel says, Jack Hope submit to Ross Legg's greatness.
Akshay Patel's in and he strikes Jitter Sharma in front of middle stump. I think that's been it's been given out. I think it will be out. He might review it as he's the last batter. Looked pretty plumb to me, Ross.
Yeah, you've got a long way down. I think his only chance if he's got outside the line here, potentially, but it looked pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say his only chance is if this is sliding down the leg side. So if you take both of those points of view and put them together, it's not looking good for him, is it? And the replay suggests that's probably true.
Yeah, he got quite a long way across, didn't he? And he's trying to sweep it into the leg side. And this is kind of the angles that Akshar Patel does offer. So I think he should have been bowling those overs when Kuldeep was bowling. And he's managed to get, 30 runs here, which is much better than some of the others. Oh, he's out. Let's
take a look. I think there's a noise there, maybe on the bat. Or is that bat on floor? There's a little bit of dust. Floor, I think. Yeah, as the bat... There is a noise, but I think bat on floor as he goes for the sweep shot.
Long way outside off stump, and then the only way it's going to save him is outside the line. Oh, it's umpire's call.
It's umpire's call outside the line.
That is unfortunate.
Hitting the middle of off stump. So he's gone. 85 for 5. Punjab in real trouble.
Or as Bear would say, dis a fucking rye.
I need to play the jingle. W for wickets. Let's pick the first one I see. Oh, that's a run out one.
Another one by Sadas. I think that is going to be out for it. Another one by Sadas.
There you go, 32 from 23 for Jitter Sharma. A helpful innings, but probably needed him to get at least double that.
Yeah, I think a little bit unfortunate, and you can see Rabada coming in ahead of Nathan Ellis.
Yeah, Rabada can bat, sort of, can't he?
struggles against spin sometimes. So Cody Yadav still got two overs left and coming in with 5 balls left of Akshar, and he's got another over or 2 as well. Could struggle here.
Yeah, it was looking good for the Kings earlier in the tournament. It looked like their relentlessness was going to sort of terrify some teams. Do you reckon they've been worked out slightly by the field?
I just don't think they're picking the right. I don't think they need to have that one batter more in that lineup. Their number 7 is a real issue for them. Where Sharat Khan is completely devoid of any kind of form, it puts an awful lot of pressure on that side. I think it's a good thing that they've not immediately reverted to playing the old way. Shikhar Dhawan definitely has the ability to strike at 120 and just try and see it through. They're not trying to do that, and got very unlucky today with him being caught down leg side. I just think they've got the ingredients to make a run scoring cake, and they're not doing it the right way at the moment.
Akshay Patel from over the wicket to the left-handed Rabada, who punches to mid-wicket for a dot.
You do have a fan on YouTube, Prajwal Bharadwaj says, love the cricket podcast.
Akshar's in, and it's defended back to the bowler. Yeah, the cricket podcast at the Cricket Pod on Twitter. We do 3 shows a week, Wednesday, Friday and Sunday. As a wide delivery from Akshar, a very slow wide delivery, is steered to deep point for a single, and Rabada is off the mark. 86 for 1 now, the Punjab Kings. They've got to find a way to get at least 40 more runs here, probably more like 60 more runs in the last 7 overs of the contest. Sharat Khan picks up 1 of those down to long off with an orthodox looking check drive.
What's good about my connection right now is that everything is in a slow motion replay, even the live stuff.
Yeah, I get that all the time.
I think
a little bit unfortunate there. Just
defended back to him. Dot ball. Carry on, Ross.
Yeah, I think just Sharma can paint himself a little bit unfortunate, but again, Sharat Khan stinking out the other end meant that just Sharma couldn't get going. And if we look back at some of the balls that they faced in that partnership, Sharat Khan's eaten 14, 15 deliveries of theirs together. Missed opportunity again by someone who's, as I said, woefully out of form.
I don't know what you guys have done to upset, or Jack has done to upset anybody. Viva Raperti says, yeah, Jack, be submissive in life. And Krish Ganesan says, feel bad for Jack Constanza. I'm on Team Constanza. At least he's consistently wrong.
Cody Yadav's in. It's whipped into the leg side. Looked like a nice shot. I don't think it was timed particularly well, and they come through for a single as Rodman Powell runs in off the boundary at deep square.
Yeah, Rodman Powell, apparently Shane Watson was interviewed and said that he's only in this team because of how good he looks in the nets. He's not translated that at all into match games so far in the IPL, but maybe today's the day when they have to chase down about 110.
I was going to say, he must look good in the nets then, because he hasn't done anything with the ball. Rabada gets away with one there. He tries to flick it into the leg side. It goes in the air through point, but the fielder is back in that position, so he picks up a single.
I do like I do like all the sponsors on the IPL tops at the moment. There seems to be more and more of them. They're kind of looking like the Mexican football shirts you used to get, where nearly every single part was completely covered.
Yeah, as Kuldeep saying, googly, Sharat Khan plays that actually quite well off the back foot, punching down to long off for 1, or a NASCAR.
Yeah, NASCAR. Yeah, that's a good one. Maybe that's next. We need more and more sponsorship.
Well, cycling was the one that really got it going, wasn't it? I mean, you couldn't see any of somebody's jersey in the Tour de France for all the
Rabada's out. Rabada has been bowled. Cody Yadav tosses one up. It's the wrong one. Rabada didn't read it. There's a huge gate. It spins straight on and takes out middle stump. Yeah, not great. That from Rabada. You're back, Ross.
Yeah, no, not at all. And that's what I thought, that with Akshar Patel, much more effective bowling to the right-handers, Cody Yadav being able to target the left-hander here, and Rabada's struggles against spin bowling, clear for all to see with that one.
Nathan Ellis will walk out next. I want to say that this is an IPL debut for him, but I could be wrong. Does anyone have that information to hand?
Good question.
Ross, somebody can Google it. He will be joining Shahrukh Khan, who, as Ross has been saying, is stinking out the place a little bit, and I will bring up his...
Here's his IPL debut.
Jingle. I won't bring up his jingle. I can't find his jingle. That's annoying. I can play Benny Howell's jingle. I can't play... Oh, no, here it is, number 2.
Here comes the story of a hurricane. Nathan Ellis vital to their game. Restricted the other side's run.
Cody in, defended by Ellis, and there's no run.
He could be a champion.
I quite like that jingle. It was right.
Yeah, Nathan Ellis doesn't strike me with any confidence really as a lower order hitter, but let's hope that he does better than his 118 strike rate suggests.
Well, the Kings will need him to. There's a slip in for him as Kuldeep comes round the wicket, spins one in, and it hits the top of off stump. That's a very, very good delivery from Kuldeep there. Getting
beautiful bowling,
grip and spin in. Nathan Ellis, well, I think it's fair to say, probably was not quite up to the task.
Fuck off! Just fuck off!
His face was just covered with what the fuck was that?
Yeah, I must admit, it's nice for once to go on to commentary and be talking about something in terms of Cody Yadav should be on and round the wicket, targeting the stumps to right-handers, and it actually works out, because normally it doesn't work quite like that, does it?
Punjab are 90 for 7 now, sinking without a trace, to be honest. 6 overs to go in this innings still, but you suspect they're probably heading for a bowl out.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a 100 all out picture, does it? Pitch, especially at this ground.
Not at all. Messages, do we have anything on social?
Well, Jeff Perkins very kindly provides Farong with an Eagles update, saying they're playing concert at Buffalo and Belmont Park in New York, and Greenville, South Carolina in April 21st, 23rd, 25th. I can't believe the Eagles are still around and doing concerts every couple of days.
As usual, some vital information relayed to us there from the Twitterati.
So Punjab Kings, Jack, I think they haven't really gone down swinging, have they? Really, I think a lot of their wickets has been relatively meek. It's not like caught on the boundary and that kind of stuff. It's been, I don't know, they haven't been the intent machines that we've known them to be.
Tame.
Odd Man on YouTube says Punjab is not playing exciting cricket that was promised. It's actually one of the most boring teams, and except when Bairstow connects, I think it's going to stay that way.
I don't think they've been boring. I mean, they've been bowled out in like every game they've played in, and still put hundreds of runs up. This particular game, I don't think anyone would argue that this has been exciting, but through the tournament they've been pretty interesting. Shahrukh Khan, why change the habit of a lifetime? Mistimes one into the pitch, and there will be no run.
He's going to end up on this game. He's going to phone his wife or his girlfriend or whatever and come back and have a really good day. And it's 15 off of 37 balls that he's going to end up with.
Not out.
Yeah, it's good for average.
Yusuf Patel is demanding jingles for the cricket podcast, lads.
Yeah, we do have a few, but they would contravene the old copyright laws.
Shahrukh Khan, he gets one away. It's going to go down the ground. Will this go for 4? It is not going to go for 4. A man comes from nowhere to cut it off. It will just be a 2.
You'll never guess what, honey. I hit a 2 down the ground today.
I thought that was it. I mean, it wasn't very well timed. I think if he timed it properly, it would have gone for 4 quite easy. I think the bloke ran round from about deep square leg to cut that off behind the bowler on the rope.
They're just playing replay after replay of Nathan Ellis not even looking at the ball out of the hand, just flailing his bat into the offside somewhere where he thinks the ball might go as he gets beaten all ends up.
Tell you what, the season of the Yadavs continues though, doesn't it?
He does?
Yeah.
I was impressed with Lalit earlier, actually.
Khalil Ahmed's in. A swing and a miss from Sharad Khan. In fact, he's out.
That was one of the worst innings we've seen in IPL cricket.
Thin edge. It's caught behind by Rishabh Pant. 92 for 8. We'll go back to the wickets jingles. It's not a duck. I'm going to play the duck one though because it's worse than a duck.
Then he waddled away, waddle, waddle.
Well, he waddled anyway. That was torturous.
A little bit of a cutter.
It's probably Punjab's last real hope, slim as it was, of them getting any kind of a score in this match. Who are their last batters?
They've got Rao Chahar, who's joined them, and then they've got the mighty Arshdeep Singh, and then we have Vishal Arora.
We're going to have a little advert break here, though. We don't want to derail the sponsorship opportunity. So let's go over to social media, and then I've got some jingles to catch up on.
Well, speaking of sponsorship opportunities, O'Neill Harris has kindly sent us a picture of what I think to be a soccer shirt. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different ads simply on the front, which I think is pretty impressive. I don't know whose soccer shirt it is, I'm afraid. Football for you guys. And Farong says this is 200% a blowout. Ravish Shastri G says DC will qualify and win the IPL. DC and RCB are favourites. GT and LSG and RR other teams to be in the top 4, in my opinion. Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see if DC can go all the way. I'd be surprised myself.
Yeah, let's play the Rahul Chahar jingle, and then we'll get some more tweets in.
Tweets are up to date, and I've taken selections from YouTube because there's a lot of discussion. So, basically up to date.
Well, should we talk about Punjab Kings then, Jack? Because I think they're not picking their best 11 here, and they are failing miserably in this game. But is that not par for the course? Is the way in which they play cricket? We knew there was always going to be a couple of blowouts along the way. Is it just to be expected from Punjab Kings?
I think if you play this way, that will definitely happen. I think if you play this way as well, you can't bat to 6. They're trying to do 2 different things. Like you can't have a team tactic which is don't worry about your wicket. We're going to hit from ball 1. We're going to hit through the middle of the innings. We're going to hit at the end. If you have Rabada walking out to the middle in the 12th over, that you're going to lose a lot of matches. Occasionally it will come off, but you're going to lose a lot of matches. You're going to be bowled out really cheaply quite regularly as well. I think they need to find a way to bring in or to get a number 7 who can bat. Whether that's moving Sharad Khan down by perhaps bringing in Rishi Darwan and Rajapaksa for maybe Nathan Ellis and somebody else. I don't know. I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? I mean, the emergence of Jitesh Sharma sort of disrupted things as well because he's quite good, but I don't think he was in their original plans. As Khalil Ahmed comes in short and fended at and not out through to the keeper.
Yeah, Jitesh Sharma. Oh, God, Jess.
What's your view of the wicket? I mean, is it playing a big part in this, do you reckon?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a good wicket.
I think they've just batted pretty terribly, really.
I think they've batted pretty bad. I think some of them aren't very good. And I think they've been a bit unlucky. I mean, Agarwal played on. Darwan is out to a ball that it probably has an expected average of about 1,000. It's a truly awful ball as Khalil's in. It's a Yorker. Arshdeep's backing away and misses.
Yeah, they've picked out the man perfectly on the boundary, didn't they, which could have gone for a boundary.
Jitesh Sharma's out and it's an umpire's call, so there's a little bit of mitigating stuff here. But the fact is that Sharad Khan, just gave an exhibition of why he's not very good, and the batting order gets worse from him down.
Yeah.
So
They've got 3 number 11s really, haven't they?
I don't know if you can beat gangbusters unless you've got a gang. As Khalil's in, and Arshdeep plays a beautiful shot. He smacks it down the ground all along the floor. It went away for like a...
That went like a tracer bullet.
It didn't quite tee that up perfectly. Anyway, that's the end of me. I'm heading off. Bear is going to come in and ball by ball you through the last 2 wickets of this innings.
Okie dokie, me too. Farong is the next tweet for whoever's coming on to tweets.
Hello. Ajit should be here any second. He's just entered. And I'm in, and I'm sorry to say, it is a typical Bear game. Well, it certainly looks like one, does it not?
Not yet. There might be a late rally. Oh, 96 for 8.
96
no,
for
probably
8.
Not.
It's, yeah. Looking.
The jingle off's more exciting than the cricket, Bear.
Well, yeah, this is probably done and dusted. I mean, they could take 4 wickets in the power play, but even then.
You know, in one of the previous games, these two, the last 2, actually added some runs and gave some chance of, I think, but they took the team from 160 to 189 or 190. Not what's this.
That's just turned into leg side. Out to mid wicket and there's no run. Yeah. What? They got 5 overs left? 92 wickets in hand. Can't see that. 130 maybe, so it's defended back down the track. There's no run. I went under 157 and a half, and I was really tempted to go over. Then I realised they'd lost 4 wickets, and there wasn't that much left in the hutch. It didn't make much sense.
Somehow it felt like that today.
Yeah, defended into the offside, and there's no run. They don't particularly bat deep, do they? Punjab. They kind of need their top order to fire.
Well, at least Chahar is off the mark.
Yeah.
Arshdeep has already scored 4. But look, these 2 can get them to 120, something defendable, maybe. But I don't see that really being a challenge for Delhi in any case.
No. But this is it. A lot of early wickets, and then it could get interesting. But as we saw, I was looking at one scorecard. Maybe it was yesterday or the day before, and there was a team. I can't remember who it was because I don't really take that much attention. There's that one. It's played down the ground as yes, no, as it's half fielded by the bowler, and there's no run. There was who was it the other day? With Miller got in that game. One of the teams, there was basically just 2 scores in the match, and one of them was like 100 or a 90 or something.
Pretty much.
That was defended. Well, tried to get a single or guide into the space, did Arshdeep, but he couldn't. Instead, it was straight to back point, and there is no run. Last ball of the over. Oh, in at the pads. That's an appeal. I would be appealing for that. It's quite full. Probably going down. At best, maybe clipping leg stump. You got 2 reviews. There's only 2 wickets left. You might as well use one. Just make it interesting. No?
Nah, he doesn't look very keen actually.
No.
I mean, I was surprised. That was a blind charge at the bowler. He was lucky that the ball actually took him on the pads. I was expecting he may actually be stumped.
Yeah. Missed it. It was down. It was far enough down. Yeah. So that game the other day. I mean, who was it? Were you saying?
So I think it was basically. Oh no, we just discussed it in the pre-show. It just left my mind. Give me a second. Let me refresh my memory. So basically, it was David Miller and Rashid Khan who had the 2, let's say, mentionable scores. The rest of the team didn't do much, right?
Yeah.
And it was that special score from David Miller that took them to the victory. So it was Gujarat Titans, basically.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I was just when you look at the scorecard, it kind of confirmed my view that basically you can win a game if one guy gets a big innings, and that's it. You only need one guy to really step up in a T20. If 2 do, you've got a big score in your hands. Most people get themselves out eventually. That is played behind square on the offside, and there's no run, and that's a real cliche. If ever I heard one, but
Well, look, they were also playing against Chennai Super Kings, whose bowlers were not, well, at least one specific bowler completely lost the plot.
Who was that?
It was Chris Jordan.
Oh, that's got to be close as well. Again, he's come down the track with Arshdeep, and he can't get it anywhere.
gets hit on a pad, probably going down again. I mean, he is aiming in to the middle stump. Oh, no, sorry, that was a replay.
I mean, I was waiting, but I thought you might realize it, but you were falling into the trap.
Totally. That's unlike me. First ball is full and defended back down the track, and that is no run. 97 for 8 off 16.2. Run rate is 5.95. I went under 157.5%. I think that's pretty safe. Good choice.
Look at the score. It looks last 5 overs, right? It looks absolutely. This looks like a graveyard.
Yeah, flashed at and not connected with, through to the keeper, and there is no run.
Right. So when you look at that last 5 overs, there's nothing to write home about at all. I mean, you have lost so many wickets that there is no chance of acceleration. So like 16 for 4 in the last 5 overs, where you would actually expect that's the phase where you would start hitting.
Well, I think Sharuk Khan was he was pivotal in that, really, wasn't he? I mean, it was what, 12 off 20. Tempted pull by Chahar. Has he got enough? He has got enough. He's got 6 runs. Top edge.
Oh, wow.
Well, maybe a bit more on the top edge. These edges are thick, though. It's been hammered over long on, really, for 6 runs.
That is the shorter boundary.
Nonetheless, I bet he's happy with that.
Sure, I mean, this is what they did the other day. So what I remember is they took an over where they looked absolutely like tailenders, wrong calling and not looking comfortable, and then suddenly they switch on and they took the team to about 190, which was actually the difference. But today, I mean, even they'll take 125 from here, right? So
yeah,
let's
probably.
See.
Now, well, it's the Fizz. He's 1 for 23 off 2.4. He's bowling at Chahar, 7 off 7 with that 6. 103 for 8 Punjab. This time he's guiding it down shortish, going across him, guides it down towards third man. They think about 2, run the first quick, but they won't get back. And it's only a single, 104 for 8.
I mean, these two also sort of trust themselves, it looks like. When it comes to that, they sort of trust to, change the strike, not worry too much about one of them giving it away. It's a pity that it has to come after, the score is barely 100.
Well, yeah, they've got nothing to lose. They're bowlers, aren't they? They're not expected to score the runs out of thrash. If it doesn't work out, fuck it. If it does, it'll look good, yeah?
Well, I think considering the amount of bucks they get paid, I mean, look at those faces in the dugout. They all look
super expensive. He's dressed like an Aussie rules footballer.
Yeah. The Fizz is in. Ooh, goes for the Yorker. Dug out just by Arshdeep, and it goes out to mid-wicket and there's no run. Spade his legs, tries to hammer in the leg side.
Did I big them up too much too early?
Well, possibly. That's the end of the over, is it the end of the over?
It is.
I think it is the end of the over.
I'm going to update you on the jingle off. Prithvi Shaw is well in the lead. He's got twice as many votes as Lungi and Gidi. Very close behind him, Odion Smith and Prabhasuram Singh. And then I'm afraid Robin Powell and Harpreet Brar are looking like they're trailing or bringing in the tail. So Mogg looks like he may have not only got some votes this week, but he may well get the winning one.
The winning 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th, I believe.
Don't give away the secret there. He will win, that's all that he needs to know.
Was it all the talk of Britney Spears, I wonder, right?
Could have been. Could well have been. But anyway, Pretty Sure is right up there.
Well, hit me baby one more time.
Yalat Yadav has come back into the attack, and he's quite tall. He bowls like almost medium pace, but ostensibly as a spinner.
He's an off-break bowler who runs off a slightly extended run-up for an off-break bowler.
Yeah, it reminds me when I first started bowling, I thought it'd be really good because I was left-armed. I bowled sort of fast spin. I thought that'd be a really cool thing to do. It wasn't very effective. Neither one nor the other. He's up and he's in, and it's short and it's wide, and it's been hammered over the top of point and down to the point boundary for 4 runs. That was a pretty appalling ball. It kind of got what it deserved, really.
Oh yeah, it was filth. I mean, probably he didn't warm up enough, and he was bowling it pretty fast, right? 104 kph. That's pretty fast, and I don't think Prithvi Shaw in the boundary did a good job either.
No. I mean, that's the thing. It's not fast, though, is it? I mean, it's kind of very fast for a spinner. But I mean, as a professional batsman, that's kind of nice paced. Just, especially if it's short and wide. That's just like hit me, hit me, hit me. I don't even know if he rolls his fingers across the ball. I presume he does. Yeah, he does. That one's in at the hip. Still quite short. I suppose bowling at that pace can get away with it a little bit more. Pops up. Jahar tries to turn it. Doesn't get much more than the leading edge. Back to the bowler. There is no run. Third ball of the over. And it is in. Down a little step down the track from Jahar, but that time Lanik gave it a little bit more of air, and he couldn't line up the shot. Ended up just defending it out in the offside. Top first three balls.
Absolutely. No, I mean, we get. I think that one he was also sort of trying to invite the batsman out.
Well, that one's in the slot though. It's kind of angling down leg side, and it's been picked up by Char, picked up and planted right down Rothman Powell's throat. He hardly had to move at deep backward square leg. Jahar falls. A plucky little innings. Hit a couple of decent fours, but in the end, we have to say goodbye.
I won't look back, 'cause by the time that I do, you'll be gone.
Well, when you look at the way he bowled that one, it's more of a licorice all sort of a bowler. That was more bowled like a cross seam delivery. Just angled in at the pads.
Yeah.
Which, well, he picked it up well, but also picked up the fielder well, right?
Well, it was at the long boundary. One's really short, isn't it? One's longer.
Yeah. I think it's from, if you look from the pavilion end to the church gate end, if you were the bowler at the pavilion end, it's to your right. So if you're a right-hander at the church gate end, you're pulling to mid-wicket. That's your short boundary.
Okay, cool. All right.
I may have gotten the wrong way round, of course.
Well, are they going to be
estimate.
instructed to use all their overs, or are they just going to carry on? The GPL, did anyone enter today? Let's have a look.
I think Messrs may well have done.
No, he didn't. No one entered the GPL today.
Oh, Lord. Need to push it harder. We should talk about Patreon then.
Yeah, we should. Patreon is, all of you who listen, Patreon with now, apart from getting everything you love, there's different tiers, and you get a podcast for the first tier, plus obviously our undying gratitude. You get the archive for the second tier, which is $5, plus now you get the podcast. As around the wicket comes, it's not Lanik, yes it is, and Arshdeep just backs away but hits it out to the offside, and there's no run. It's a good over. 5 runs and 1 wicket in that 18th over.
To answer your previous question there, I think there's never any reason to not see out an innings. So even at the level I play, we always say just see the innings out. Okay, in our level we expect some wides also.
But then the debate always is though, isn't it? Are you better hitting 2 sixes and getting out, or playing the last 12 balls and scoring 3? You know?
It's what if you get out trying to score the first 6? So you go, because you've already given so many wickets away, you rather go in the terms of what is the safe approach, right?
I know what Andy Ward would be saying.
Yeah, I know what Andy Ward would be saying. I mean, that's the thing. I think, this is where the ego comes in, I guess. I don't want to be out. I want us to see us through, but I don't think it makes a lot of difference, to be honest. And I also think tailenders find it hard to just, in a T20, you can't just bloody defend anyway, can you? You got to have a swing at something. You might not be able to get it away, that's the thing.
Also the match situation, right? So if your team is 180, you probably have a clear mandate, you can still go with your free hands. But if your team is 109, maybe not.
If I'm number 11 and I'm 109 for 9, I get out. And if someone has a go at me in that dressing room, I'll be fucking telling them where to go. Someone displays his feet as Vyabab and tries to play it into the offside, misses it completely. It's through the keeper and there's no run. Now, I'm not sure we have a jingle for this guy.
Yeah.
Vaibhav Gopal, 24 from Himachal Pradesh. I think it's his first IPL. He took 2 for 21 against CSK. He got Rubin Uthapar and Moeen Ali.
Okay.
Yes, as a bowler he's had a good time while Bear jingles up the bowler.
I can't find a jingle for him.
Shall we let the cat out of the bag then? So it is a tall left arm bowler who's sort of picked his pace up a bit.
Yeah, no. He's had his jingle already. I was trying to find Bibles, but I can't find it. I'm sure we have one.
If anything, Vaibhav doesn't look very comfortable at the crease at all. Maybe Arshdeep should even farm the strike a little.
Yeah.
Vaibhav looks a little bit like a walking wicket.
Yes.
Well, he's going to hit a 6, right? Next ball. Now that I've
Wow,
said it.
he's number 11. He should, number 11 rarely should expect to bat in a T20. And as I said, if he does, and the score is shit, you can't be blaming number 11, man.
Well, he has a single-digit average. That doesn't bode too much well. If you're a Punjab Kings fan, hoping he might give you a last minute of fillip.
If he gets 1-6, I think that would be astonishing. He doesn't look like he's, going to hit the ball for 6. He steps that way outside leg stump, defends it out through cover. David Warner chases it down. It'll be a single. I do have a jingle for Vibe. It's just it's this, I think.
What's that noise? Is it the snoring? Oh, he's awake. Must be Aurora.
There you go.
One of Jeff's.
Yep, one of Jeff's. 9 balls left, 110 for 9. If they get, as I think, as you said, Ajit, if they get 120, they'll be. Well,
I'm so used to seeing David Warner in Sunrisers colours. It just looks weird when he's not.
Yeah. Short backs away. There's Arshdeep, but he doesn't get anything on it. It goes through to the keeper, and there ain't no run. 1 run off the 19th over. DC,
Oh dear. 4 balls up, and they are not looking to actually get behind the ball at all.
No.
The basics of cricket, they're trying to give themselves some room.
They've gone for your approach, Ajit.
Yeah.
Just see them out. Just get run the odd 1 or 2 if you can, but be there at the end. They're not going for the 6 and out.
Khalil is in, 5th ball of the over. Again, a big haymaker with no connection from Arshdeep as he steps away, gives it a big heave-ho. Doesn't get anything on it, goes through to the keeper, no run.
Whatever pretensions Arshdeep may have had as a batter, right? I think he'll need somebody to talk to him a little bit. Keep him sort of focused on what's going on and what needs to happen in the next ball. Probably that's what Rahul Chahar did well in the previous game when they had that partnership. Now that Chahar is gone, Arshdeep looks like a typical tailender as well.
Yeah, Chahar looked like he could hit a ball. Arshdeep doesn't, really. Last ball, tempted Yorker by Khalil. Dug out reasonably well. I followed batsman. I don't think it would have hit the stumps anyway. I think would have gone down an inside of leg stump. Arshdeep to get himself so much room, gets an inside edge out to deep square leg. Get a single, keep the strike, and we've got 1 ball over to go. 111 for 9.
Ravi says, if you're batting at the pavilion end, the Art Deco pavilion stroke stand should be seen right behind you. Okay, thank you for that, Ravi. Farong, now I like this. This is genius. Seems like a gorilla concept to me, but which gorilla was modelled here in the historic artifact? I'd have to show you the picture, Bear. But the information is, in the ancient Persian Empire, men would debate ideas when sober and again while drunk. An idea had to sound good in both states to be considered acceptable.
Oh, now that's genius,
isn't it? Genius. I like that.
Genius.
It is. Yeah.
So bring that back.
I think they should. Jeff Perkins says, is it true that after the results of the jingle off that ScoMo has asked Tony to run the next Australian election? Are you suggesting, Jeff, that there is something untoward going on in the jingle off voting? I can assure you I don't influence voters in any way. Much.
I think you must start with the Belarusian election, maybe, Tony. Then and then go to Australia. Yeah.
The fizz is in. Last ball, last over. I think he's trying for Yorkers, and that would make sense. He does. Another slight inside edge. Doesn't beat Rishabh Pant on the inside though. It would have raced for 4 otherwise, but no, it's a dot ball. Good bit of keeping and no run.
I will just tell you that Jeff, who likes that idea as well, says looks like it goes beyond the gorilla model though by adding the sober debate section.
Yeah. I was about to say it should have been the other way around always. First think of an idea and wait until you're drunk, you then get arguing about it, then wait until you get sober and see if it still makes sense, rather than the other way. But maybe that's the way they did it.
Either way. Now that's a good shot. Arshdeep smashed that one straight back down the ground. It was a pretty poor ball actually. I mean, it's kind of knee-high full toss in at leg stump. He just stepped away, brought the bat through and hit it straight. Good shot. Can't complain at that. That's an extra 4 runs to the score.
I still can't get over how much of a copy of an older RCB jersey this is, or the RCB clothing that current Punjab Kings wear. But,
oh right, maybe seconds, just rebranded. Here comes the Fizz is in. Now that's inside the blue line. Shouldn't be a wide. I hope it's not given us a wide. I can't see whether.
That wouldn't be wide because he just let the stumps go, and the ball was around 2 or 3 stumps within the blue line. So that's still okay.
Yeah.
Mustafizer is way too good for Arshdeep.
Yes.
So it looks a bit painful if you are looking at it from a purely batting perspective or Punjab Kings perspective. But he's given himself a chance now. Pyrans to get in 3 balls, right?
Yeah. 1:15 for 9. 3 balls to go. The Fizz is in and bowls an almost identical ball. Arshdeep goes outside leg stump, then tries to go across, loses balance, and has to sort of support himself with his bat as he loses his balance, falling over to the offside. Quite comical. And no run.
As I told you, somebody needs to tell him, hang in there, don't move all over the place. And Rishabh Pant looked a bit ticked off for whatever reason.
I don't know why. Maybe he just wants the wicket to get off. But it doesn't really matter. There's only 2 balls left. 116-17 to chase. And same ball again. Really good ball. He's just bowling it full wide, that wide Yorker length, and it's way too good for Arshdeep. He keeps backing away to leg and stretching and not quite getting there.
A bit of a one-trick pony, really. And in the meanwhile, we saw a very, very astounding graphic. So basically, the bowling from spinners, when it comes to spinners of Delhi Capitals, they've taken 6 for 45 in 10 overs.
6 for 45 and 10?
Yes.
That's pretty good going, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. That too, enough big hitters. I wonder if Punjab Kings actually missed what Odean Smith brought to the squad. They let him go today, or they benched him today.
Who's that?
Nathan Ellis played. Odean Smith.
Oh, okay.
So it was always Odean Smith and Shah Rukh Khan who were the finishers. Today they went with the pace of Nathan Ellis, who can also actually bat a bit, must be said. But none of those middle order players covered themselves with any glory.
Last ball is another full one, outside off stump. Arshdeep gets cool, but he's going to get run out because Ryabab just sort of, why are we doing this? And Rishabh Pant just ran out to the stumps, took the bails. I don't think they even crossed. I think they kind of stopped and gave up in the middle of the crease. Doesn't really matter. Punjab 115 all out in their 20 overs. It should be a walk in the park for DC this, shouldn't it? Who have they got? I don't even know who they've got. But they got Warner. Do this on his own in no time whatsoever. Prithvi Shaw.
Well, Rishabh Pant for a start.
Yeah, Rishabh Pant.
Absolutely.
Pant, Warner.
But frankly, I don't see this getting anywhere beyond the number 4 batting position. Now that I've said it, they're going to lose 2 or 3 crickets quickly. But Prithvi Shaw, David Warner, Rishabh Pant and Roman Powell. And then you have Sarfraz Khan. So a solid top 5. And what I would like to look at it, if you are a Delhi fan, is can they up their net run rate a little bit for the later stages in the tournament?
Let me grab a few. Do you want to run through the scorecard, Bear, or shall I do some quick tweets before you do?
Some quick tweets.
Right. Odd Man over on YouTube says the run rate gods have blessed Delhi Capitals. He also says Punjab's not playing the exciting cricket that was promised. It's actually one of the most boring teams. Well, there we go. Let me see. Have you seen a more talented player than Brevis at 18? No, I've got to say he's been impressing me. Pant and Sachin were far better at 18 than Little Baby, says Ravi Shastri. Let me
the
go.
Real one.
Let me go over to Jeff Perkins. It looks like it. We've had that one. No, I think we're up to date on Twitter as well. Oh, well, no, Farong had sent us his pyjama jersey has 8 sponsors on it, apparently. And he sent us the picture of the sort of the scaly skin, sort of
yes,
Godzilla look jersey.
Do you get to wear it though? Do you play,
Oh, no, he sent pictures of him sporting it.
Oh, nice.
A very fine figure he cuts in it too, I must say. Not easy in a jersey like that.
No. Right, the scorecard. Punjab Kids 115 all out in their 20 overs. Last man was out on the last ball. Mike Agarwal was 24-15. He was out. Bowled Mustafa Rahman, Shikhar Dhawan. Caught Plant, bowled Lalit Yadav for 9 off 10. Johnny Bairstow caught Mustafa caught by the fizz, bowled by Ahmed, 9 off 8. Liam Livingston stumped Pant, come down the track, useless. 2 off 3. Having a great time when I've been in it. Jitesh Sharma, LBW Bowl Patel, 32 off 23. Shahrukh Khan, 12 off 20. Oh dear, caught Pant, bowled Ahmed. Kagiso Rabada, bowled Cody Yadav for 2. Nathan Ellis bowled Cody Yadav for 0 off 2. Rahul Chahar, caught Powell, bowled Yadav 12 off 12. Arshdeep Singh, run out, last ball of the game, last ball of the innings, sorry, 9 off 17. And Vayav Aurora was not out, 2 off 4. Bowling, Shardul Thakur, 2 overs, no maidens, number 20. Khalil Ahmed, 4 overs, no maidens, 2 for 21. Yalat Yadav, 2 overs, no maidens, 2 for 12. No one gets maidens, so don't forget that one. Mustafa Azim, well, occasionally. 4 overs, 1 for 28. Axel Patel, 4 overs, 2 for 10. That's pretty good in the T20. Cody Yadav, 4 overs, 2 for 24. That's also reasonably good. Mind you, only having 115 on board, bowling figures should be reasonably good, shouldn't they? You get 4 overs and everyone's going for under 6 and over. So
that English sort of the 3 and 4, Bairstow and Livingston. Bairstow again, second week running. Of us watching him, second week running, he's just not really fired or got started.
He wants to open, doesn't he? I think it's really weird for Bairstow. I mean, I know he does. He has batted at 3 for England as well, but I mean, in white ball cricket, he's an opener. I think it probably affects his ego being at number 3. I think he should be an opener. He's one of the best white ball openers in the world, and you should just give him his. I mean, he opened with Warner before, didn't he, when he was at Sunrisers? And they were phenomenal at times,
Agarwal drops himself down the order then. He's not had a great time of it himself. And he's the captain and he's back in the squad. He missed a game in between. But maybe you have a point there. Johnny Bairstow can still open and then maybe Agarwal goes to 4 or 5. Maybe gives a little bit more stability and a bit of finishing.
Something like that.
You have Sharma, you have Shah Rukh Khan and you have somebody like Odin Smith or Rabada and Ellis who can give you that firepower at the end. Today they didn't go anywhere. I mean, for me it was a very promising start. So when they lost their first wicket only in the 4th over, they had already 33 on the board.
Made 50 last time out, didn't he, Agarwal? Am I right?
Yeah, Agarwal's done well. Yeah, that was last week, wasn't it? When we were here.
But by and large, you're right. His scores haven't been that much to write home about this tournament so far.
So that's why I thought he could do that. But regarding your comment for Johnny Bairstow, I have a rebuttal. So I tell this to also my colleagues who often come up, who bat 8, 9, 10, and they say I must be batting at 4. In our league, that's possible. That's perfectly possible. But I tell them it's not where you bat, but how you bat.
Yeah, so it is. No, I get that. But this is 20 over cricket. This isn't any long. This is just 20 overs, right? He's one of the best white ball openers in the world, without a shadow of a doubt. And, he deserves to be, he's got more right to open in this side than the other 2, I'd say. I mean, not only does he play for this team, but he plays international cricket. And he is a proven match winner from opening an innings. And therefore also, it seems insane.
Also, I was thinking they've had one very bad reverse here. But otherwise, this order has been more or less doing the job as far as, putting a decent total on the board is concerned. Not very long ago, you had Shah Rukh Khan and Liam Livingston getting into the thick of runs. I think in the previous game, Liam Livingston played an absolute gem. I think 60 odd runs of basically 20 odd balls. He had a fallow game here. I blame the rest of the order really.
Yeah.
And for Shah Rukh Khan, it was a sticker twist. He wasn't sure what to do. Yeah. The ball was not going anywhere off the square. But, when you're a hitter like that, you always believe. You say, I need one hit right in the middle of the bat and then it's all going to click.
Yes.
And all you need are a couple of balls and you can get the strike rate back up, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. No. I mean, that's T20 cricket all over, isn't it? And I don't, you do have to pretty much hit from the off. So, it only takes them maybe 3 or 4 balls to get in, but that 3 or 4 balls you can quite easily be out. Having a big yahoo at one that, when your eye's in, bullets to the boundary, but when you're not, it gets that snick or goes up in the air. That's the nature of the beast with T20. So you can't be too down when you might have a couple of bad innings as long as you're still in the team. you never think you're out of form in T20. I don't reckon, because you've basically just got to hit the goddamn thing. So,
Well, sometimes you could think that. You could think, as you say, it's just one good shot that's around the corner, but that shot never comes. Not in this innings. You'll have to go back and you'll have to work on it. So form is a very fickle thing. There's always this famous cricket saying, right? Form is temporary, class is permanent, and so on.
Yes.
Apparently, T20 there is no meaning for that. What you said, right? You just have to hit yourself into a form sometime.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of agree, and then sit on the fence on that one. I mean. I guess I don't know. I mean, Jack would argue, and I've heard them argue that actually the IPL is better than international T20. I'm not sure. Although, because most of the best international players also play IPL, and I think it certainly helps with international cricket. But I certainly think there are better international players than some of these teams who put out regularly some player who's great, he's in the IPL and he can hit a ball, but given certain situations, as you say, one of you was saying that some of these hitters, they're good at hitting down the ground, but they don't have all the shots, and I think the best batters in the world, in all the international sides, have hitters who can do that, pretty much all the way down the top 5 or 6.
You could consider these IPL 11s as all-star 11s, effectively, right? But that doesn't always compete well against a full squad that's been playing all around the year together and has gelled well, and each player know their own roles and so on.
Exactly.
You might want to let Cameron in, who's I think sitting there. It's all right. He's got he's not on for a wee while. I was just looking at one stat which I thought was interesting relating to today. In this game, there are 3 batsmen playing who are in the top 4 IPL opening partnerships of all time.
Oh wow!
Shikhar Dhawan obviously won.
Shikhar Dhawan is one. Yeah, who would the other ones be? David Warner would be one. And
Johnny Bairstow.
And Johnny Bairstow. Spot on. So Dhawan and Warner, they previously combined for a record 2,220 IPL runs. And Warner and Johnny Bairstow, if you remember, in the bright flame shirts of the Sunrisers, they put on together 1,401.
Well, that's one of the early seasons we did at IPL. It must have been 2 IPLs ago. It must have been before lockdown. Those two were unstoppable for a while, weren't they? They'd score bagfuls of runs.
They were indeed. 4 out of the last 5 between these two have gone to the capitals. I think it'd be a surprise if it was any different today, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
From what we've seen.
The
only one the Kings won, I think, was 2020 in Dubai. It certainly was in one of the UAE games.
Of course, we're going to have another World T20 in World Cup, aren't we? This bloody October, isn't it? October, November?
Yeah.
Yes,
Australia. There's one in Australia this time.
Well, that's it.
It's a T20 tournament.
It's just relentless repetition.
Yeah.
That's the nature of the game.
Well, they're supposed to do every 2 years now, aren't they? But because of COVID, they cancelled one for 1 year. So so basically, you've got to within a year. That's all right. Hopefully, Australia will lose, and they'll know what it's like to be only winning something for a year instead of the requisite time they should have it. Like when we switched the Ashes over.
Yeah, well, I'm not too sure about that. I've got a feeling if you look at the World Test Championship table at the moment, it reflects reality.
Yes.
Australia top, England bottom.
That's a bit painful if you're an English fan, aren't you? It's been a really fun a couple of months.
Yes, we are English fans.
Anyway, we're going to talk about that tomorrow, so let's not go on to the show. It does give me a chance to tell you that if you do subscribe, or if you find Patreon, if you go to GorillaCricket.com and just look on Patreon or patreon.com/GorillaCricket, you can find ways to help us, which include loads of fantastic fun things now. Not only shout-outs and the like, but you get a regular show, The Bear and the Bishop, or The Bishop and the Bear, our Patreon-only pub. We get some fascinating guests onto that. That's a weekly show. We have a new newsletter, which is just for our patrons, called The Smaximum. First one you've had, the second one is being crafted as we speak. And that should be heading your way tomorrow as well. You get discounts on merchandise.
Yep.
You get free merchandise after a while. There's a whole bunch of fantastic things to look out for. But we are going to be back focusing here on the Delhi Capitals, who one would expect, Cameron, as we welcome him. Oh, you want me to swap seats? Oh, of course I've got to swap seats. Hello, Cameron. This should be a straightforward stroll in the park, shouldn't it, for the Capitals?
Oh, absolutely. I'm expecting the Capitals to kind of... I think it could be quite fun for us, because it's one of those totals where teams are going to be so desperate to get their net run rate up, so they might try and just get it in about 8 overs. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm almost looking forward to it more than if it was about 160, 170, because I've seen that before. But I quite like it when people just decide to go mental.
Well, who knows? Who knows? And reading your social media messages is the unmistakable dulcet baritone tones of the 6'1" but shrinking Messi Jazz. Welcome back, Messrs.
Always shrinking. Well, I hope I'm shrinking
not like a violet
as well as vertically.
Well, we better jingle. I said not like a violet, not a shrinking violet.
No.
Here is everyone's favourite Australian, if you're English, is this chap.
He's quite good with a bat. He's got a stick in the start. He's short and he's fat. He's got a stick in the start. He's a bit of a twat. He's got a stick in the start. David Warner's got a stick in the start.
35 now he is, God, from Paddington. He's played for Durham, Middlesex, Sunrisers, of course, Sydney Sixers, New South Wales, when he does turn out in the Shield.
I thought he'd lost it, but frankly he was looking very good in his last innings.
Yep, he was indeed. Remember, not a huge chase that is needed here. 116 is what they need to win. The first ball is worked by Prithvi Shaw quite nicely. Away down to deep mid-wicket. He should come back for 2. Yes, he will. We played his jingle earlier in our jingle off. In fact, I think it's doing remarkably well. It looks like it's going to win by a street in terms of popularity, but we're going to play it again.
This young chap here's got Prithvi Shaw. When he steps up, the crowd want more. He made 500 when he was 14. No pressure there. I hope he's not peaked too early.
Oh, an absolute streaky old inside edge. Prithvi Shaw had a swing. It did swing in from Vavihab quite nicely. Got the inside edge, went down to very fine leg, and has them off and running with the streakiest possible one of these. That could easily, Cameron, have just whipped out that leg stump, couldn't it?
I thought we had the first wicket of the game. It was quite exciting start. I've always been a fan of Prithvi Shaw, just 'cause I've always thought he looks like the man on the Pringles tube, and I'm a big fan of those at least, and so I'm a big fan of Prithvi Shaw as well.
Well, they're like the big sort of moustache, big sort of twirly. He looks like a circus ringmaster, the character on the Pringles tube, doesn't he?
Absolutely. Oh, a cross between the Pringles tube man and the Monopoly man. But
I don't know about the Monopoly
no, he's
man.
a very, very special talent. It's amazing to think we scored that Test 100 on Test debut.
Oh, and again he gets that one to swing in again. Prithvi Shaw has a wild swing. No inside edge this time. But he was very lucky not to. And he's getting that ball to really dart in. And Prithvi Shaw didn't really move his feet too much. Swung and missed. Through it went to the keeper. But it's wasn't a shot he'll look back on. Got a bit of movement off the pitch as well.
Yeah, I think because the ball moves so late there, I don't think Shaw was really expecting it.
Well, no, he wasn't. Vavihar Aurora is averaging around about 132, 133 off the first 4 balls of this over. 6 without loss for the Capitals. Remember, 116 is all they need. So they're definitely up with the rate comfortably enough as we speak. In comes Vavihar Aurora. Full. Oh, this one's lofted high. down towards mid-wicket, one bounce over the fence. There wasn't a man down there, and it's one more of these.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
And was it you, Cameron, who said they may well want to get on with it to improve that run rate? Seems to be the way things are going.
Absolutely. And it was, well, they're up at 10 and over, and I think six of them have gone in the direction that Shaw intended. But that one just got a bit straighter, and that swing that came into him, rather than attacking the stumps, it was kind of fading away down the leg side, and Shaw's, well, he picks it up very casually.
He did indeed. So this rover so far has gone for 10, which is not what the doctor ordered when you are only defending 115. That one is lofted over cover this time. I think it's going to make it all the way. It's going to take its time, bump into that boundary sponge now, and it's another one of these. Well, we were talking about David Warner coming back into form. So far, he's just simply had the opportunity to watch Prithvi Shaw scoring every single run on the board. Gives him a pat on the gloves for that. 14 without loss at the end of the first over. Messers.
Leah says, in response to what Ajit was saying, interesting point, Ajit. You are right, of course, but it's hard to imagine an RCB jersey without a very distinctive collar nowadays. It boggles the mind they introduced those only in 2016. So that's all we got on Twitter at the moment. Over on YouTube, Krish Ganesan says Dan should grow a big beard and wear a turban so he's not identified as any Punjab Kings fan.
Well, it's going to be another fabulous owner of a jingle, Kavigiso Rabada, and he starts with a very modest wide down leg side to David Warner. He won't be too happy with that, and I will need to find his jingle because, of course, it's always one worth playing. I just don't know where it's hidden. Talk amongst yourselves while I look. Where is he? Wide. Well, that was a one. I was more thinking about Rabada.
Oh, sorry.
This one is driven, well, angled really down to backward point by David Warner. 15 the score. He's off and running, just a single. It's been Prithvi Shaw who's really decided to set about Aurora's first over, and it's 15 without loss. I think Rabada has a pretty good record against David Warner. This one is a previous it's not even the Sunrisers playing, isn't it? So, oops.
Gotcha.
Although interestingly enough, we did see a wicket that I nearly commentated on. A very similar shot though has netted 4 runs for David Warner, and he will move on to 4. 19 without loss. Why am I?
I've got to say, the one person today who's probably not all that sorry to have COVID is Mitchell Marsh. He looked in absolute agony when he was batting the other day, but it wouldn't have been
Comes
any
Rabada,
better today.
guided by Warner out towards mid-off. Easy single taken. Yeah, it's interesting. You're quite often used to seeing Warner as the more belligerent attacker, but Prithvi Shaw has been the one looking to play the shots, and Warner's been a lot more watchful. But he has lost his wicket to Rabada on a number of occasions in the IPL. 5 from this over so far. Here's Kagiso Rabada.
He's a high roller, rock and roller, scariest, deadliest, killing this bowler. He can sink your oats like the Spanish Armada. No one faster, no one harder. What's his name? What's his name? Tell me, what's his name?
In he comes, and onto the back foot, and pushed away by Shaw down towards the 45. 95 needed off 110. It really should be the easiest, breeziest, comfortablest of chases for the Capitals. We'd be surprised if it wasn't, wouldn't we, Cameron?
Absolutely. I think the only potential saving grace for the Punjab Kings might be if Warner decides to he wants to play himself back into a little bit of form and kind of face a few balls in the process, but I think will only be kind of extending a kind of.
The left-handed Warner is on strike. He's pulled this past square leg, but there is a man down there at backward square. Will just get a single. 22 without loss now for the Capitals. So they're going at slightly more than 11 and over, which is considerably more than they need to be going at.
Yeah, and these losses can really hurt teams just because of this. Well, it's the goal difference of cricket, isn't it? It comes down to who's going to get that fourth spot, and it so often comes down to net run rate.
Rabada in, lofted beautifully. Should go. Oh, it's one bounce. Prithvi Shaw really just angled the bat, overslipped. There's no third man. One bounce, and away it went for another one of these, signalled by Bruce Oxenford.
There's not one boy for me, I must have 2 or 3, I need 4.
And we just catch Rabada looking in to the night sky, thinking how on earth did he get away with that, but I'm afraid he did. Short and wide, and that does tend to be what you get, I'm afraid.
O'Neill Harris says, I think Johnny Bairstow is a fantastic opener, but they may be wary of his penchant for being bowled with a moving ball. But he came to the tournament late, so he may just need some time to get back into white ball mode. I'd open him straight away.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of, they're two guys they're the homeboys who are phenomenal players in their own right, so Bairstow was back of the queue.
This one is slapped by David Warner out towards the deep cover boundary. Only takes a single. And will bring Prithvi Shaw back onto strike to face Rabada.
So the replay of that shot where Shaw's kind of ramped it over third man. It is amazing that shots like that don't kind of cause us all to kind of descend into kind of shock and madness anymore, such as the quality of these guys.
It was short. Well, it was short.
It's a ludicrous shot.
It was short and just too short and too wide. Vaibhav is going to continue. Oh, and there again is Shaw, whose footwork has been a little bit shaky, I have to say. Non-existent is shaky. Again he gets an inside edge. Again he escapes, and again he gets a single as the ball dribbles away towards the leg side. But he was lucky.
I wouldn't mind if my footwork's shaky and I was on 20 off 9 against these guys. It'll be Shaw's kind of, when the ball's been getting in closer to him, or he's had that room, as you said, he's kind of not really been moving his feet. So when he's been standing there, and when they've got 2 straight, he's kind of walloped him over the leg side. And if he had any width, he stood there and slashed at it. But Vaibhav's been getting the ball to move back into him, and when he's got it right, Shaw's not looked brilliant. But when they've got it wrong, Shaw has.
Well, it's the mustachioed Warner. He steps across his stumps and drives this beautifully straight driven back past the bowler for one of these. Now that was a cricket shot.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I don't think the Delhi Capitals have ever won the IPL, have they? I think they finished top of the league 3 times, runners-up in 2020, playoffs 5 times. So they've always so often been there or thereabouts, but they've never actually won it.
No, I think you're right, and they're one of the later franchises, aren't they? They kind of came on the scene. Well, they used to be the Delhi Daredevils.
Yeah, but those stats I think include their previous incarnation as the Daredevils.
Maybe they hope the rebrand would have caused a change in fortunes.
Around the wicket to the left-hander, and this was nicely guided away. I think it's going to beat both cover and extra cover. It is. Despairing dive, not going to get there. It's another one of these. And Vaibhav at the moment is leaking runs. Now that was a quite superb shot from Warner. Again, you could say not a lot of footwork, but he didn't need to, because he just waited for the ball, angled the bat, and bisected cover and extra cover to just steer that away for 4.
I think that was his best kind of Marcus Trescothick impression. I don't really understand how that has gone for 4. It's kind of split the man on the fence and the man on the ring. It's flown away.
Fuller, again, just slapped really this time out towards cover. There is no run on this occasion. Chahar, the fielder, 37 without loss. A 10 off this Vebav over. He doesn't need that many. Well, they don't need that many, Deshaw and Warner. They're only chasing 116, and now that has come down to 79. They're 37 off 2.5 overs. As in comes Babihar, right arm over. This one is thumped high, back over his head. Does it have the legs? Oh yes it does. That's gone all the way. They are in a hurry. They want to get this job done. There seems to be a delay in signalling it, but to me, Cameron, that went all the way without too much question about it, didn't it?
Oh yeah, we need to ask the neighbours, not the umpire, to know if that's gone for 6 or not.
Well, it was. Let's see where it pitches. Good point. It's dropping now. Yes, that's as 6y as 6 can be.
I believe in miracles. Since you came to bat, you 60 thing, you 60 thing, you. I believe in miracles. Since you came out to bat, you 60 thing.
I'm not quite sure why umpire Gandhi took quite so long to think about that. It looked pretty, pretty straightforward to us, didn't it?
Clear to all involved, really.
Yeah,
So it's 43 for none off 3 over. Roy PMG9 says, "Hi Cameron, can you please tell us your surname?"
Oh, my surname is Punsonby. Oh, my name is Cameron Punsonby. That helps.
And he says, "Can you name your associate 11 of the
Flicked
year?"
off his hip by Warner off the next ball from Rabada this time. Different bowler, same result. Beautiful shot by David Warner. Down to fine leg. 4 runs.
My associate 11 of the year, is that 11 individual players in terms of like a dream team, or is that just the best associate team of the year? I'm gonna have to if it's the former, that's going to take some real thought.
Yeah.
This one is guided away towards extra cover. They've taken 1. They are going to come back for an easy 2. This is looking really straightforward stuff. And Prithvi Shaw and David Warner. Well, Shaw really did have a couple of swings and misses, a couple of streaky inside edges. Might have been a different picture if one of those had removed him, but he's ridden his luck, and now these two are looking as comfortable as you like. As this one is flicked imperiously, magnificently and effectively by David Warner away towards mid-wicket. Widmicket. Same result though, one of these.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And in no time at all, the blink of an eye, the 50 is up. It's 53 without loss. Where were the Kings in their power play? They were, let me see, 47 in their power play. Crikey, they're going to be left trailing, pulled by Warner, dive from short mid-wicket, nowhere near it. It's going to make its way to the fence for another 4 runs. Oh, here is Brittany. Oh, well,
I've got to say, Cameron, you were spot on with your prediction.
Yeah, they're flying along. It's kind of it's looking almost too easy at the moment because we're on 57 off about 22 balls. I mean,
spot on.
If we double this, we're going to be done by the 8th over.
Oh, not sure we will. That's top edged. There's surely 2 men converge. They left it for each other. After you, no after you, and
oh god,
the ball drops between them. Rabada looks distraught. Who was that? Was that Shikhar Dhawan? Shikhar Dhawan was one of them. Who was the other one?
And Nathan Ellis. Ellis is having a kind of debut to forget at the moment. He hasn't really had a chance to do anything. He's got bowled second ball, and he hasn't taken a catch. So hopefully he gets the ball. But by the time he gets on, the game's already done.
To be fair,
but no.
Shikhar Dhawan was running backwards and went for it. Had Shikhar Dhawan, just let me hold that thought for a second. Dropped short, swung out of the way quite nicely and left, and there is no run. Now, I think if Nathan Ellis had had a free run just to jog in and catch that, he would have got it. But the more senior man was running back and running backwards to take a catch is infinitely harder than jogging in to take one, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And you can see even from Dewan's catch, like Ellis is having to back away to get out of his way. He almost dives into him. And no, that's almost kind of a miscommunication.
Well,
maybe a kind of a pursuit of passion from Dewan. Just
a pursuit of passion. I think possibly also the more junior man's thinking, oh crikey, I'd better stand out of the way and see how he gets on here. The more senior man would have said, that's mine! And he didn't. And I'm afraid it's cost them wicket. We're going to see Arshdeep Singh brought into the attack.
O'Neill Harris says, spin lad, spin for fuck's sake.
Well, that is precisely what we are going to see. A little bit of Punjab King swing. The king of swing, not necessarily, but it's Arshdeep Singh. And he's going to be bowling. He's replacing Babu. He's bowling to Warner. It's a way down leg. And it seems to have been everybody's default first delivery is a leg side, one of these. Wide. Am I right? Literally every bowler so far has started with a leg side wide.
Rabada definitely started as well.
Yeah.
I think Vaibhav might have got away with it, but I think his went for 2 and then he went for a couple of boundaries, so I don't know what's the kind of better outcome really. But
I've just found Arshdeep Singh. We're going to wait for him as he is in. He's a left arm medium pace, so I don't know why we were thinking spin. And this one is just guided away into the onside by the left-handed Warner. There is no run. That's Jingle Up the bowler.
And then this guy called Arshdeep Singh. The obvious jokes will be entertained here.
59 without loss. Already surpassing by a street the power play effort of the Punjab Kings, other capitals. In comes Arshdeep Singh. Flicked off his legs, flicked through mid-wicket, flicked by Warner for 4 more. Effortless, but effective.
2 + 2 is our man. 2 + 2 is our man.
Just overpitched, wasn't it, Cameron? Overpitched and just screamed, flick me.
I can't think of a kind of a worse set of scenarios that Punjab Kings could be experiencing at the moment. They've gone nowhere with the bat, and they're bowling. It's been really shit basically. They're dropping catches. There's no kind of nuance to be added to this situation. They're just getting absolutely battered.
Well, what can Arshdeep Singh do this time? Oh, he can throw one away down leg again, and once again umpire Gandhi spreads his condor-like arms for yet another wide. Not a good look. 64. They're more than halfway there. They've only faced 4 overs. You really think this is a bare game and we'll all be home for tea. But let's see. Can Arshdeep Singh bring something to the party? No, he can't, because Warner has just flicked him off his pads again. This time, though, there is a man at deep backward square. It's that young Ellis again, who almost flings himself off his feet. No, it's not. It's Liam Livingston. He didn't make any runs today. And, well, I would imagine right now, if you were watching the telly, commentators will be reading from a pre-prepared script about the magnificent punch. Not Mr. Punch of English seaside fame, but the Tata car. Goodness knows why. But there it is. We're just waiting for the ball to land on that and just dent that beautiful steel work, but I'm not sure it's happened yet, has it? 65 without loss.
Apparently if it does, a whole lot of money gets paid out to some sort of scholarship fund or something.
Oh, well, that can't be bad. This one is hauled by Prithvi Shaw this time. That's away to mid-wicket. That's 4 more. That was absolutely clubbed. I mean, that was just pure power and wrist work, wasn't he? As he stepped outside of off. And
well, they're taking the piss now, basically, Warner and Shaw. They're kind of cruising along. They're going to get this net run rate up as high high as they can. They're trying to turn a 5-0 win into a 6-0, 7-0 win. The only thing I can have to say that isn't about boundaries is that wide from Warner. Arshdeep Singh followed him down the leg side because Warner had backed away, and I think they're going to change the rules now, so that might no longer be a wide. Because the idea is that the line gets drawn from basically the batter's bum, basically, so you can't then, as Warner did, kind of shimmy back across and go.
That's a full toss as he's come around the wicket, the left-hander, or the left armour, and it goes through to the keeper. It's a horrible ball. Pretty sure is convinced it should be a wide. I'm not sure it's going to be given as a. Did you say the batter's bum?
Well, I think the idea is that they kind of go
fabulous
off the
name for a
profile
pub.
of the batter, so the kind of furthest away point, the most leg side bit, so the most bit sticking out. So it's to stop, say for instance, a batter running away to the leg side and hopping back across once the bowlers followed them, and to stop that from being a wide, to try and level the playing field a bit.
Around the wicket
Not
comes
easy,
Arshdeep Singh. That one is, well, it's an interesting shot from Prithvi Shaw. It's a beautiful shot. He's set to cut, and then he just sort of let the ball hit the bat as he angled it. It went past backward point on the up, a couple of bounces, and into that backward point boundary for another 4 runs. I mean, Cameron, Arshdeep Singh didn't give him a lot of room to work there, but he just seemed to adapt, didn't he, his shot and guide it. Extraordinary shot.
So often these kind of players are almost premeditating in a way we don't really understand, that the fielder at point was up, so Shaw just decided he was going there.
That's full. It's a full toss. It might be a dot ball, which is quite a rarity thus far in this innings. It is. Prithvi Shaw looks frustrated, has a word with himself, a fairly stern word with himself, and we finish that over with a dot ball. But it does mean that at the end of the over, it's 70 without loss. Messers.
So, well, we've got a changeover.
We do.
So
you can do it.
I'll let you know, Tony. You're coming on tweets that Brian 001 is the next tweet to be read. I doubt if I'll be back after 10 overs because I don't think we'll need that many. So I'll catch up with you next week.
Love to see you again, Messers.
Cheers, mate.
I think that's you, Cameron. You're in the chair. You're going to have Ajit on summary, and I'm going to be doing some social media.
Fantastic. So with the jingles, will I hand over to you to hit the button?
I'll do those, but I was just trying to fix our picture. Oh, no, I think our picture is actually all right. I seem to have it set up as it should be. But there is a change of bowling. You're absolutely right.
Nice. And we have Nathan Ellis on for his first bowl in the Indian Premier League.
Well, here he is.
Kind of Australian scene. He took a hat-trick, T20 hat-trick on his debut for Australia.
Nathan Ellis vital to lead.
That right now.
Restricted the other side's runs during the death of us. He could be the champion.
And Ellis is running. He's on the money first ball. A straight delivery that's blocked straight down the ground to mid-on. So Ellis gets off the mark with a dot ball. Arjit, do you think we're going to reach 10 overs? Do you think we're going to finish our stint in the chair here, or will the Capitals have won by the time we're done?
I am afraid we will not get to probably leave our stints and leave Punjab some runs left. They're going to get all completed. 75 in 5 overs. You should say at least they'll be able to make 2/3 of those 50, right? That's all they need. Less than that to win.
Absolutely. They need 41 off 89 balls. Ellis comes in again. He's full, and Shaw defends him once again. There's been 2 dot balls in a row, and I'm feeling all kind of queasy and nauseous now. I don't know what's happening. But yeah, sorry, you go on, Arjit.
New bowler, right? So they're just trying to get an understanding of what this guy can do, whether he can generate some nasty bounce. The pace seems okay, mid 130s, not too surprising yet.
So Ellis prepares himself to bowl once more. Nathan Ellis, I believe, is very good friends with England's Rory Burns. That's a little fact we can include. I think he actually played some club cricket down in Surrey, and he went and played for Rory Burns' hometown club, I believe. Ellis runs in once more. This is short this time. It's over Shaw's shoulder. I think that'll be very harsh if that's a wide, but nevertheless a wide it is given, and one over the shoulder for the over as well. Arjun, have you had a chance to see any of Nathan Ellis at all, or has he been a player? Are you surprised to see him included in the side?
No, actually. So I think they were also not left with a whole lot of options. So they went with him. They were probably not happy with what Odin Smith was doing. So they thought, this guy can also bat.
Ellis comes in once more, and he's on the money once more. That should and could have been out. The ball just moved away from the right-hander. It took Shaw's outside edge, and it flew between kind of short third man and backward point, but it's gone away for a boundary and a jingle.
And if you kids can't listen, then you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary,
Oh yeah.
I think I might.
He was a bit unlucky.
Yeah, I think I might have given Ellis a bit more credit than he was due there. I thought it moved away, and I think it went pretty straight, but Ellis seems pretty disheartened that he hasn't got his first wicket. Anyway, he's coming in once more. The score is 80 for none. Ellis is up to the wicket, and has he got him?
Nope.
No. That was exceptionally well described by me, who was stunned into silence at what was happening. The ball just trailed away to the leg side, and Shaw looked to turn the ball around the corner and got a leading edge over to cover. And the ball just dropped short. It's been a fantastic over from Ellis, actually, as first over in the tournament this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for players like him, he's actually one of the few people on the pitch who has something to gain right now, because the game's over, the contest is over. But Ellis, if he wants to try and get a few more matches under his belt, if he wants to try and get a contract again for next year, these overs right now, if he can come away with some good figures, well, he's bought himself.
He's not a real youngster, is he? He's 27, I think. Nathan Ellis.
Yeah.
Right, Ellis comes up once more, bowling to the left-handed Warner, who runs him down to third man, and short third actually intercepts it, and it is no run. The two batters thought about a run, but they decided against it. Shaw is on 40 off 18 deliveries, Warner 36 off 17, and coming up is the last ball of the power play, and Delhi on 81 for none. I can't imagine there have been too many power plays in this IPL where more runs have been scored.
I dare say yes, this must have been the highest power play score so far in the IPL, and 75, right? So at least when I was following you guys on commentary, I thought they'd almost given up Punjab. I mean, the fielding sometimes, I thought the catch where Ellis should have taken it running in, so on.
Absolutely. Ellis is coming in once more to finish the over. He drops short, and Warner just dogs him back behind square for another dot ball. So Ellis has come away with very flattering figures. His over has just gone for 6 runs. That's the end of the power play. It's 81 for none. And we have a strategic timeout, because everyone needs to talk about what tactics they require right now with 40 runs required off 13
the run
overs.
rate is 13 and a half. The required run rate would be 2.5. So I think you could say that
I think they'll be okay.
Squarely on top of this.
And we're ready for some socials, I believe.
Yes, we should be. I just need to find roughly where we were. Let me see. O'Neill Harris, I think Johnny Bairstow is a fantastic opener, but they may be wary of his penchant for being bold with a moving ball. But he came to the tournament late, so he may just need some time to get back in white ball mode. Linux Leah, Panzerbean. Panzerbean means a Rumen in German. I could go for some Panzen with beans right now, not gonna lie. Okay. Brian 001. Punjab Kings seem to have lost the plot. Poor batting and bowling, not to mention the shocking drive on the boundary with arms trailing instead of the outstretched. And now a catch miscommunication. Yep. Well, we think that was possibly Shikhar Dhawan being over enthusiastic and Ellis a little too reticent, but yes, a miscommunication. Leah, and that's why the Persian Empire collapsed. A good idea is one that seems good inebriated and doable stoned. Who cares about sober judgment? Yeah, we did like that picture of the good idea. You got to test an idea sober and drunk. Only when you see it as workable, when in both states is it a good idea, which we rather liked. O'Neill Harris says, a one-sided game I've seen this, the most one-sided IPL game I've seen this IPL. For wrong, 5 dot balls in the first 5 overs. They need to bowl a few shite balls to break the partnership. Yes, shit gets wickets. We have a t-shirt for that. If you want to find how shit gets wickets t-shirt, you can go to GorillaCricket.com or you can go to redbubble.com/GorillaCricket, and you can find a whole bunch of fantastic Gorilla merchandise, but there is definitely one shit gets wickets t-shirt which is quite magnificent. I think that's pretty much up to date. Talk amongst yourselves while I go and have a look
while
at
we
YouTube.
wait, I was thinking of a tweet that's been doing rounds all of today and yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw it. Mohammad Asif apparently said he didn't think Kohli could make a comeback if and once, his power started to wane, because he's very much a bottom-hand dominant player. Yeah. He's been making the rounds. I would like to know what you guys think.
Yeah, I'm interested to know why being a bottom-hand dominant player means you can't return to the peak of your powers more so than if you were a top-handed player.
Well, at least Asif seems to have taken some credit there, that he now almost conclusively says Kohli might not make a comeback.
Ray PBM9, by the way, is telling us it isn't Ellis's debut. He has already played for the Punjab Kings in Sharjah. Yes, indeed, he did. He's had 3 IPL appearances and 1 wicket. In
I'm blaming Mr. Jack Hope for that, because having listened in earlier today and not blaming myself for not researched properly. That is the professional way to do things.
Pressed in the Big Bash as well, I think, did he not?
Right, we have Rahul Chahar coming in bowling some leg breaks, and he's bowled a short one. It's turned away. It could be caught. It's just fallen short of the fielder out on the cover point boundary. Shaw kind of backed away and looked to cut, but then almost kind of played a one-handed. His bottom hand let go of the bat, and it kind of spiraled off the toe end, and it flew into the offside where the fielder ran in and just couldn't make it. So at the end of all of that, it is 1 run, and David Warner is on strike.
Well, let's jingle up Rahul Chahar. Here he is. Certainly turned.
Maybe you have a dream of bowling the perfect ball, winning the final game, but when you wake up, you're Rahul Chahar.
Waiting to look how Ellis bowled. I think Shaw doesn't have the same patience for the spinner. First ball, he tried to tonk it over extra cover.
Absolutely, and Chahar comes up once more to David Warner. He bowls a straight delivery that is turned into the leg side by David Warner, and they trot through for a single. So the field's gone out now. It's the end of the power play. The run rate will naturally kind of come down a little bit. It'll be interesting to see whether the Capitals will kind of almost want to pay any attention to that, or just think we have such a good chance here to win, for want of a footballing analogy, 10-0. We need to go for it. Chahar's in once more, and Shaw answers that question. The ball was outside off stump, however he swept it very far and very straight into the hands of the fielder on the deep mid-wicket boundary. That looked, by my money, certain to travel out of the stadium, and it instead travelled straight safely into the hands, and Delhi Capitals have lost their first wicket, caught by Nathan Ellis on the boundary.
Well, I think it got more height than distance. And it was Liam Livingston who actually took a very good catch right at the boundary's edge.
It's a very good catch. Very good catch indeed. Well held. Kept his balance beautifully, didn't he?
It was held
Absolutely.
over.
He made it look so easy. He just comfortably leaned over the boundary and took the catch. Casually, almost.
I think you see these guys practice this so much now, and something they do in the warm-up before every game, and something which makes so much sense and why every club cricketer should really do this when practicing their skies, is they hit the ball from the middle of the square, from where the wicket is, and then they're standing on the rope to simulate it and to make it as realistic as possible. Anyway, Shaw has walked off, and he got 41 off 20 balls. His job definitely done. He'll be disappointed, of course, not to have finished it off himself, but to have a strike rate of 200 up the top of the order, when the most important thing in this game for the Delhi Capitals is to win quickly. That is a fantastic start for the Capitals. And we have Sarfaraz Khan, who comes in, who I can't imagine how old Sarfaraz Khan is now, but he seems to be around.
I think.
24.
I think he's been in the news quite a lot, and he started early. He was one of those who were...
I'm quite relieved he's 24. That's older than I was expecting. But anyway, Chahar comes in, and he bowls this Khan, who pushes it into the offside for no run. The reason I say that is just because he has been around for so long. It's like there's Nazim Shah at Gloucestershire now, who seems to be around for ages. He's about 19 years old. It's just because he obviously debuted so young. Anyway, Chahar into Khan once more, who waits on the back foot and cuts the ball for no run to backward point. What has happened with Sarfaraz Khan? Because there was such a hype around him when he came on the scene. Chris Gale, he was featured on Chris Gale's Instagram. He was this kind of the teenage prodigy. I'll finish that thought after one more. Chahar bowls outside off stump. It is swept along the floor out to the sweeper, and he is off the mark with one run.
I think a few disciplinary issues. I think he ran into a few disciplinary issues. He didn't like people commenting about his weight. He was not happy about the selection of the teams he was playing in, and I dare say there is some form to that, because his brother also had some altercations, and I understand his brother had been banned for a year also from playing cricket. His younger brother, I mean.
Right. Okay. Well, I think we have some socials.
Yeah, we certainly do. Madam Mohan Sharma, hello Guerrilla Cricket. I have been waiting for Wednesday to enjoy your commentary on the IPL, but the Punjab Kings have ruined my mood by exhibiting a very ordinary performance. Well, we'll try and enliven your mood, Madam Mohan Sharma, as ever, but we can't be accountable for what the teams actually do. Jack Hope doesn't like something you said, Cameron. You take that back, Ponsonby. I said batting debut, so there you go.
I just trust Jack implicitly, that's all.
It will have been. O'Neill Harris says, I think Kohli needs a break from cricket. He's played a lot under stress of captaincy and COVID. Take a break, man. Agree with that. He also said they should have started with spin, for fuck's sake. Yes, they should.
And we have another dot ball with Kagiso Rabada's rejoined the attack. There's been a bit of a lid put on proceedings here. I mean, it's all too little too late, and it won't impact the result of the match. But just the 9 runs off the last 2 overs, Kagiso Rabada's back into the attack. I believe we've just got a lovely graphic on screen saying that was the fastest delivery of the match at 143 kilometres per hour. Rabada's figures are none for 27 off 2.1 balls, and Delhi Capitals need 32 off 77. Rabada runs in once more and bowls to Khan, who cuts and beats backward point, and that will be cut off on the boundary. The sweeper was very, very square. It looked just by the angles that it was certain to go for 4, but they've obviously going for a kind of a field where they're going to target Khan with short pitch bowling, so the field is going to be very square. And in fact, right on cue, the camera angle showed Rabada moving his fielders round to further square, which is I'm glad it confirmed what my suspicions were, at least. Rabada was ready to bowl once more.
Couple of points. One, it was Ellis who took the catch, not Livingston, as I had suspected. And let me wait for Rabada.
Rabada runs into Warner once more, and that ball seems to have just stopped on Warner a little bit. He was kind of taken by surprise by maybe a little bit more of extra bounce, and so he didn't move his feet at all and kind of jabbed at the ball as if he was kind of playing French cricket on the beach, and it just kind of rolled away to cover for no run.
Came on him quicker than he thought, didn't it?
Oh, is it just stuck in the pitch a little bit?
Stuck in the pitch a bit, yeah. I think he rolled his fingers over it, maybe.
Sure. Rabada's in once more to Warner, who hoiks this away to the deep mid-wicket boundary and over the top for 6 runs. I believe we'll have a jingle for it.
That's that. So, the other point I was trying to counter, if you're playing for club cricket, you'll be happy if the catch is taken when the ball goes up in the air. I'll tell you. We dropped enough on Monday. Forget those niche catches where you're right at the edge of the boundary and you have to balance yourself and so on. You'll be really happy if the catches are taken. There are enough dropped. I know I dropped one last Monday. But yeah, all right, coming back to the cricket.
I couldn't agree more. Rabada's in once more, and just the length ball that Warner cuts away to the cover point boundary sweeper. The runs really are tumbling down now. Even they're so close to this target. There's only 24 more runs to win now. This over, I believe, has gone for, well, including that 6, will be around 8 off the over, I believe. There's 2 balls left to go, and Sarfaraz Khan is back on strike. Will we reach the end of our commentary stint, RJ? I thought for a moment we might be able to, but I don't think we will. Anyway, Rabada's in once more to Khan, and that is chipped, almost caught. It was a full-length delivery that Khan just looked to kind of whip to mid-wicket, but seemed a bit early on it, and the ball ended up going off towards mid-on.
I think we'll be able to hand it over to another trio here.
Let me just jingle Sarfaraz Khan, if I may, because we haven't had a chance to do it yet. Here he is.
Absolutely.
So far as Khan, you see, does things you won't believe. So far as Khan's that he's most 50s in the under-19s.
Oh, I like that. Very melodic. Melodic mood.
Tuneful.
Yeah.
I believe Khan scored some big runs in the Ranji Trophy as well at the standard in the return of that competition.
Absolutely. Also in the Limited Overs Trophy.
Sure. Rahul Chahar runs in once more to continue. He went for 3 runs off his first over. His first ball is pushed away to the cover fielder for no run. Warner is on 44 off 23 deliveries. He shapes up, he takes his guard once more, and Chahar comes in. That ball is on leg stump, and Warner pushes it down to long on. Rahul Chahar, I've seen him bowl something I've never seen anyone else do, where he's bowled right arm over the wicket, round and through. He'll come from round the wicket, cut between the umpire and the stumps, and bowl over the wicket, and it looks ridiculous. I don't know what the reasoning is for it. I'm sure it's very clever.
The wicket? You couldn't probably bowl over the wicket and still around the umpire. I think it will probably be around, you mean? But,
this is why I remember it so vividly. Is he cut through, and I remember thinking, I've never seen anyone do this before. He's not doing it at the moment. I was trying to work out what the reasons would be for the angles, because all I know is a friend of mine used to do that for a laugh. Anyway, Chahar comes in once more. He drops short to Sarfaraz Khan, and he is cut away for 4. That was a really rubbish ball.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Very succinctly put there. It was short and wide, and it got what it deserved, got wide of point. So I think it might be for the angles he might be trying to get, because he's turning the ball always away from the right-hander or into a left-hander. He might want to get as close to the stumps as possible by delivering, and he might think he has a better chance if he comes between the stumps, between the sticks as it's called.
Chahar comes in once more, and that's short as well, and Sarfaraz Khan kind of pulls it. It's a cross between a pull and a sweep, kind of pulls it off one knee, if that would make sense, and he gets back for 2 runs. He's now on 8 off 8 deliveries. He'd been a little bit stuck actually. He was on 2 off 6, but those 2 short balls have kind of let him out of jail a little bit. I completely agree, Arjit. It must be for the angles. But I implore anyone to go down to the nets and try it. It feels completely alien, because your weight is going in a completely different direction to where you're bowling. But perhaps that's his point of difference as to why he's here. And he comes up to the crease once more. He bowls. That is a full toss, just a very wide full toss, which Sarfaraz reaches for and sweeps out to the deep mid-wicket boundary fielder.
I can't quite understand what's this fascination with trying to sweep all the balls that are close and full, because it's up there. Why not just hit it over extra cover? So the ball that got Prithvi Shaw's wicket was pretty much a similar shot, a ball that was full and well outside off. If it's a leg break bowler, he's not threatening your stumps. So what is the point, unless it was a googly, what's the point in trying to sweep it to mid-wicket?
When Chahar comes in once, well, that's straight to David Warner, who sweeps once more. And that is a boundary of sorts. Whether it's a 4 or 6, I'll need to wait for confirmation.
It's a 4, I think.
But whatever it is,
I think it pitched inside.
That has taken Warner to 49 of 25 balls. It is not his half century, but it is a jingle. I think batters, when a leggy kind of pitches outside the line of off stump, I think with the sweep shot, they almost feel it's a little bit of a free hit, in that they can thrust their pad out there. They're covering their stumps. If they can get their pad outside the line as well, they're not going to be LBW. They're protecting bowled, and that's kind of it. It's kind of minimises risk whilst maximising reward. And also, people sweep often when they don't know which way the ball's turning. So if you're struggling to pick someone, it's a very good option. That's the end of the over. It's 104 for 1.
12 off this over.
Those 2 were together. Go on.
Well, to say 12 off this last over would mean that would be it, boys. You would have seen the Capitals home in your commentary stint, and denied Bear the chance to call the winning run. So he won't be happy.
Right, Ellis is in. He's back into the action, and he bowls on a length, and Sarfaraz Khan blocks him straight back down the ground. They've been incredibly defensive to Nathan Ellis, far more than any other bowler on show. Why that is,
I can tell you. I have a theory about it, or I have a what I would
love to hear.
Length. It's the length he's bowling. He's bowling test match lengths. He's bowling slightly back of what you would call a one-day length. So that's more a test match length. What is traditionally a good length, 7 to 8 meters from the batsman.
Yep.
That's what Hazelwood does. That's why he's not easily hittable.
Very interesting, and he has 4 just short of that test match length there. But I do think you're correct, because when they're defending him not coming forward. They're kind of standing tall and almost blocking him on that back foot. That ball there was just back of a length, and it was run down to third man for 1 run. Warner is now on strike on 49 of 25 balls. The Delhi Capitals need just 11 runs to win.
I'm going to stick my neck out. I'm going to say we are going to hand over to another trio here, because with the way Ellis is bowling, even Warner seemed to respect him the previous over, right? So he only was able to guide him here and there, sort of waited until the ball came close to him to, not.
I think you may well be right, and it'll be an honour to be able to hand on for another segment. Ellis is up to the wicket, he bowls, and that is edged for 4 runs, and that is also David Warner's 50. He went to cut and he got a thick outside edge, it beat the wicketkeeper, it beat short third, and it's David Warner's 50.
Way down to third man. Let's celebrate both. It's down to third man.
I thought it was an inspection.
And it's one of these.
50, 50, 50, pretty nifty on a bowler's pitch.
And Ellis is back into Warner once more, who the ball stays a little bit low on David Warner, and he just kind of swivel pulls the ball away to deep backward square leg for 1 run. That was an incredible stat. That was David Warner's 53rd IPL 50. That is so many runs. It's a ludicrous number of. He's quite good at batting, this guy. I think Australia should have a look at him. Right, how many runs do we have to win? 6 runs to win. Arjit, your call is in the balance.
We have 6 I'm still going to say they're going to fall short by 2 runs.
Well, 6 off 62 for the match to be won. 6 off 2 for me and Arjit to see it through. And that is a short pitch delivery that has just beaten Sarfaraz Khan. And it's just because it's beaten his left shoulder, it's given us a wide, and I feel that's so harsh on the bowlers. I don't know if I necessarily think it's incorrect.
I think it may have been too high. He's not a very tall bloke. He's probably as tall as me. That's comfortably way too high.
Keeps you in the game, boys. You've still got two balls now, and
I
I
retract my statement. It was indeed a wide ball, and so it's 5 off 62 now for the win, and 5 off 2 for us to see it home. Ellis comes up to the Sarfaraz once more. He bowls, and that is a full length ball that is pushed down to mid off. They set off for a quick single, and they scamper through for 1. 4 to win. How
Warner,
exciting.
the right man on strike. I didn't think Sarfaraz might be able to get Ellis away now, because Warner is back on strike. All you need is something slightly pitched up in his arc. He's going to go after it.
Well, Bear and Jack in the green room, you need to be on the blocks, lads. You could be calling this one home, or you might not.
You keep going. Keep going. We don't need to come.
No. We want you in.
Couldn't take that away. Ellis comes up for one more time. Is it the last time? He bowls a full toss to David Warner, and it beats cover. I don't know how it's beating cover, but the sweeper will cut it off, and they will return for 2. They should have got 2, I believe, but I am incorrect. They've run just the once. So it is 3 to win. Me and Arjit survive. We're going to have some social media, and whether it is us two on return,
well, hang on.
I do not know.
Hopefully the bear is going to appear around the corner, is he? No. He's not interested. He doesn't want to. He's clearly got
you guys just keep going. There's no point changing.
So Cameron,
we'll finish it off. But
you take us
anything
home.
to add, Messi?
What a treat. Do we have any more tweets to go through?
We certainly will do. Yeah. Madam Mohan Sharma says it appears that Rahul Chahar should have bowled a bit earlier. Punjab Kings have lost their plot. Priti Zinta must have lost her smile today. She is the owner of the Punjab Kings. Her smile is fabulous with a dimple in her cheeks. Well, there you go. Presumably the cheeks on her face. Unless you have knowledge that many of us don't.
I'm sure that's what a smile is.
Rahul Chahar comes up once more, and that is a straight ball to David Warner, who waits and just tucks it away. It's a shot where I think it looks so easy, but I don't think if you tried to replicate that you could, in that he has made no movement with his body at all, and he's just, with hand-eye coordination, turned it around the corner.
All those
for one
TikTok
run.
Videos, right? All those TikTok videos with dance
Absolutely,
moves.
he's a well-groomed professional. 2 to win now. Chahar comes in to bowl to Sarfaraz Khan. Ball is tossed up. but he got it above the eye line, but it was actually shorter than I anticipated because Khan rocks back and cuts it for 1 out to the cover point boundary. It is now just 1 run to win. Arjit, how are your nerves?
Really, I mean, I'm sitting. I'm just barely able to sit here. It's going to be very, very, very tight, right? I mean, who else? David Warner. At least I'm going to back him to score this right away.
I cannot wait to see what happens next. The Delhi Capital fans are genuinely on their feet. That's not being sarcastic. And Chahar comes in once more. Is it the last time? He bowls a short ball. It is pulled away all the way to the rope. It is 4 runs. The Delhi Capitals have won by 9 wickets. They have chased Punjab Kings to 116 in 10 3 overs. It's a huge win and it's a big jingle.
Oh, it's done.
Absolutely.
I did it while you were just finishing off.
I've
taken the Delhi Capitals approach and have just crashed my way through it to get us to the end.
I couldn't help but notice another comment about Sarfraz Khan's weight. Maybe he'll not like it, but when Warner and Sarfraz Khan meet in the middle, that's one of the first things you notice. They're not very tall. Both of them are around the same height, but well, Sarfraz Khan is made of much more sturdier timber.
He's got to be made. He's got to be out. There's a English goalkeeper, Irish goalkeeper even called Paddy Kenny, and he said there was 2 different weights. There was Paddy weight where I was fit, and there was conventional weight where I was fit, and so he wanted to be at Paddy weight. And so maybe Sarfraz Khan needs to be at Sarfraz weight. We'll see what happens. Right. I don't know what happens next now.
Well, you should probably just run us through the scorecard. I'll do one final tweet, which is O'Neill Harris telling me a smile does normally involve the cheeks on the face.
Shall I run us through the scorecard?
You can do
Absolutely,
that.
Arjit. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you. So basically, we had a quick look at already at the Punjab Kings 11, Punjab Kings scorecard. So Mayank Agarwal 24, bowled Mustafizur, Shikhar Dhawan 9, caught Pant, bowled Lalit Yadav, Johnny Bairstow 9. Caught Mustafizur Rahman bowled Ahmed. Liam Livingston, a rare failure, stumped off Pant of the bowling of Patel for 2. Jitesh Sharma, the one guy who sort of got going, 32 of 23, but LBW bowled Patel. I thought he played all around a straight one really. And Shahrukh Khan really couldn't get going, 12 of 20, and he was caught by Pant of the bowling of Ahmed. And then you have Kagiso Rabada, who was bowled Kuldeep Yadav for 2. Nathan Ellis again bowled Kuldeep Yadav for a duck. Rahul Chahar, who got a couple of big shots in, 12 of 12, but he was caught by Powell trying to hit another one of the bowling of Lalit Yadav. Then you have Arshdeep Singh, who was run out for 9 in the very last over, in fact the very last ball. So that's really good bowling. So we already highlighted it. They took 6 wickets, the spinners, in their 10 overs. Apart from that, Shardul Thakur, 2 overs 20, no wickets. Mustafizur Rahman, 4 overs 28 for 1. Right. So when it comes to the Delhi Capitals innings, not a lot to really say except Prithvi Shaw, who sort of gave it away, must be said, was caught off Ellis bowling of the bowling of Chahar trying to slog one into the stands at mid-wicket. He made 41 very good runs of just 20 balls. David Warner though did not get out but stayed till the end. Made 60 of 30, very very effective runs. And Sarfraz Khan, who was probably sent up ahead to try to get a hit and get his touch back. He got that going, 12 of 13, not out. And basically, it's a huge win for Delhi Capitals with 57 balls and 9 wickets to spare.
Beautifully done. Well, that is us for this week. Thank you to Cameron. Thank you to Ajit from the Armchair Cricket Podcast. Thanks to Jack and to Max and to Ross from the Cricket Podcast. Goodness me. And of course to the Bear and to Messi Jez. So that's it. We'll be back next Wednesday, of course we will. Don't forget to support us on Patreon. Don't forget to listen out to various things. If you are a patron, you've got some fantastic stuff to look forward to. I'll leave the final word with Jay Grover, who says that was shite. Still, thanks to you all. What a way to finish. See you next time. Take care.
Bye.
Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla. Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time has come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. But first they try to sanitize us and clean up our act. But people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick